we're good. Hello! Once again, welcome to Dwarven Forge Live! This is Critical Rebuild! Rebuild! I'm Nate, Tyler, Mace, and what are we doing? What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
I don't know.
So, as you guys know from the first episode, that we were just trying to do some stuff that Matt and the people over at Critical Role, maybe before when they had just the battle mats and they just, Matt would draw them out and they were really great drawings. And so we thought, well, why don't we actually take some of the stuff that he drew and built it out with actual Dwarvenite? And
it's basically, this is our version of
it's our fan art. It's how
we're doing fan terrain. We're doing a build with terrain, recreating. Is it okay? All right. We're creating. We're taking his thing and we're turning it into Dwarven Forge terrain. Anyway, what happened?
It's quiet on the chat, so I was trying to move it closer because waving didn't help.
Well,
are we good? Do we need to?
Yeah. Do we need to do anything else?
Mic check. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Just talk, enunciate. Act like you guys are in a theater.
A theater.
Theater.
Is that what you want to say to me?
Yeah. So that's it. So So why don't we tell them before we dive into this awesome Ziggurat, which they get a little taste of up here. Mm-hmm. Why don't we tell them what are we doing? We have some things happening today.
So today we have a stretch goal style giveaway. We already actually reached the first stretch goal, and we are 3 away from reaching the second one for giveaways, which is insane.
We already broke our first stretch goal?
Yeah, and we're at 211, so we broke the second one. Should I even set the timer for this one?
Yeah, take it. So just tell them what they are. What do they win, Bob?
So,
Mace.
Vana.
Vana, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Vana displays it, but it's okay.
Yeah, we have some things to give away. Vanna. So the first thing that you guys already nailed and got past is actually Smuggler's Coffee. It's a variety pack that we're going to be giving you. Our friends at Smuggler sent it to us so that we could give it away. So big shout out to them. Thank you so much. Your coffee is delicious. I had an entire pot today.
I was going to say, we have a lot of it here.
Yeah.
They made, he did a special Wayusa blend tea for me, which I'm going to try tomorrow morning. It hadn't opened it yet, so...
So I guess, should we start with that keyword and then we can build up to the next one in a few minutes? Okay, so then for that one we can do...
Han Solo.
Han Solo.
just maybe one, just solo. Solo. Just make it one word.
So solo, type it into the chat, and then we will be giving away one of our lucky viewers some Smuggler's Coffee. And for the rest of you, there's more giveaways. We have stretch goals to hit because we want to become partner really bad. So the next one we have is actually at 200. We're going to be giving a whole set of Die Hard dice.
Woo!
They're really lovely.
It's our custom forged dice.
Yeah, it has a little anvil on it.
Yeah.
It's. I'm pretty sure you always roll a 20 with it because I've never had issues with mine. And
I've never had any issues with my Die Hard dice either. I use it all the time in my sessions, and they always work for me.
Yeah.
To the detriment of all of my players.
I've rolled some ones. It's possible.
Oh. Yeah. All right.
What else?
All right.
And then what do we have next?
And then after that, at 250, we actually have a very rare resin set that we're going to be giving away.
It's okay.
We're still on the dice, so that's cool.
Like,
sorry, I'm going fast.
I was fine. We weren't going to do them all in a row.
No,
we didn't.
You don't need to show them. We were just going to...
yeah, we can show them when they win them. But thank you.
Oh.
Good hustle.
Yeah.
Respect the hustle. So after that, we have a resin set. We will show you beauties of that later. And then if we're able to sustain 300...
300 viewers.
Yeah.
For
we're
how
gonna
long?
For 30 minutes.
30 minutes? You're crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
But let's not bring up personal and kind of unprofessional topics. That's a little rude. But if we have 300 for 30 minutes, we will be giving away a Gauntlet set.
Ooh, Gauntlet. That's Encounter 5 from Dungeon of Doom. It's all the traps you could ever imagine crammed into a hallway that's too small to contain all of them.
It's
deadly.
Amazing.
It's awesome.
But they're not corners.
But with that, maybe we can, if we hit 500, maybe we'll just
we'll get crazy.
Think of crazy special things. Yeah. So with that, I guess we can.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's show people how we got here.
Can you go to the time lapse? Do the eyebrow cock, the matte eyebrow cock.
I can't make one go up.
Wait. Tyler, yeah. Okay.
Can you do it?
Yeah. The camera.
We're about to go do the time lapse.
So we're going to show you how we got here.
Thank you.
She's talking about at the beginning of every episode.
the eye. I just can't. I don't physically have the
eye.
My eyebrow doesn't like do that thing.
Right.
I
We're
don't
at
have,
221.
Are we? Okay. I'm sorry. Where's
No, you're to your
So this way instead. Into the
All right,
light.
so let's tell them what we're doing. Is the mic still good?
The mic's over there. Yeah.
But I can't see.
Just Wi-Fi.
Alright.
Tyler, can you start?
So basically, we took a whole bunch of elevation platforms. Like what? 12. We started with 12
Yeah.
and started with like a 2-layer ziggurat and realized 12 that was just not enough. So later we ended up adding some more. We'll get there in a sec. And we were tons of dais steps up front.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like we decided that. Well, it was like in part of your initial drawing too of like how we were trying to do it. It was we have to make this one continuous staircase. So how do we do that and also make the elevation platforms stack on top of each other and keep the angle going? And so it was like,
And it was part of the part was actually just getting at building the base infrastructure, and then the rest of it kind of flowed easy. We ended up it wasn't high enough, so it brought in another 12 elevation platforms in, and we elevated the whole thing up and we got 3 steps.
Well, like one of my favorite parts that we did. I mean, like that's stuff. Some of the stuff that we did today, but like yesterday, some of my favorite parts were actually getting this stuff done. Where
the front of the
the front of the actual ziggurat, and because we knew we kind of already knew what we were gonna do with the space inside the room where the sphere is.
Yeah.
But like the front was certainly like, what can we do to spruce that up, and I think we already have some extra ideas already anyway as to how we're going to do that.
Oh, so here's where we start getting ambitious. And
Yeah.
decide to, we're going up one more.
We're like, you know what?
Took a bit
Yeah, we're going.
So
we're
we
going
used now a
hard.
total of 24 elevation platforms that we gaffers taped together.
Yeah.
So we didn't want them sliding around. Like if one of us bumped it on the stream, it would be a disaster.
But also, what we did was, you came up with this really cool idea of putting terrain trays in between the platforms
With stilts.
with stilts underneath, so that it actually had what's the term again? It's the
Cantilever.
Cantilever,
Yeah.
cantilevering it, so that we had enough for like all of the backspace too. Oh god, all
And so
of our
this was
different.
this was like the elapsed time. It was about 5 hours of elapsed time over 2 days, I think.
Yeah,
Roughly.
yeah.
Give or
The
take.
bigger day was certainly yesterday. Was because
Alright. We are back. Alright, so let's show them what we started with. So, sniper cam.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this. Should we go on that?
yeah, that way.
Boom. So this was Matt's original battle mat from the dry erase.
Okay, talk towards the mic. Gotcha.
Ah. So then,
Just say
so
it.
this was the steps leading up, the couple of pillars, doors, simple fray, and the biggest thing we were trying to figure out how wide to make the stairs. In the original drawing, they were 6 inches. So I did we had this cool.
Yeah, that was. I can't remember
Who did that?
Did you find the artist? No, like there was no. I couldn't find who actually made this rendition, but it's just a rendition of the below the sun tree, the actual ziggurat proper, and how they would have dug through and like just kind of a. And that's
That was
Nate's
a quick
original
sketch of like, hey, here's how we're gonna execute this using terrain trays or elevation platforms and dais. So let's look what we did. So first of all, why did you? So Tyler, why this build? Like why are we here?
The mic's
The reason that I thought about this one, I actually thought we would save this closer to like when the animated show was going to come out, because that show is actually dealing with this specific arc anyway. But I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do this. It's a lot of fun. We also have a lot of the pieces that were going to be necessary to build it. But I think what I like it most is it was such a when that episode came out, it was like a really big deal. This is like the culmination. This is the climax of Percy DeRollo's sort of story. They've gone through all of Whitestone. They've started a revolution. They've done a bunch of things to fight back and to get Percy's home back to where it was. And then during the course of that, they keep finding these little bits of information as to like why they wanted Whitestone in the first place was that there was something called the Ziggurat, and they kept looking for the Ziggurat underneath Whitestone. And so it comes into this room of like this big sort of the way Matt said it was like it's more like Aztec in design, but just like this like pyramid underground, and there's so many other things about it that come to light much later.
Well, narratively, what was exciting for you is there was an
This
emotional. This was like a big payoff moment, right? They
big.
killed. Like this was a big moment for the team.
But
right? So it was nice to build that out.
Yeah.
For me, I was excited. Like Ziggurat, I'm like, there's verticality. We get 3D. This is like, going from 2D battle mat to this
Real
is
quick,
like dynamite.
the artist of that one
Yes.
is Son of Joxer,
Thank you.
or his real name is Joel A. Complicated last name.
Gotcha.
Thank
yeah.
you, Joel.
Son
Yeah.
of Joxer.
It's very helpful.
It was very helpful. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. Like that was the other thing that was kind of striking to me is like the only thing that we had was those two pictures of the mats, and so that's all the players had too. So it's like to be able to create something like this, like they had to run all the way up there, and they had to fight on the stairs as well. So it was like
he said it was roughly 200 feet or something.
Yeah.
So we're a little short. It should have been another layer on here, but man.
There's a few questions also about the pillars because
Yeah.
they're not standard.
All right, so let's look at some of the things we hear. So we have sniper cannon. We have these are our
ancient
Our-
pillars.
marble limited edition marble ancient pillars, which just look good. So like the description thing was supposed to be what, white going to green or green going to white.
White going to green. It's to resemble the Whitestone of Whitestone. It's a material involved in the actual like area, and that's it's like a magical element.
So we wanted to get the white in there to try and get a little hint of the original color. We added the lights, even though it's supposed to be super dimly lit, right? Like they can't make out when they get into the thing. They can't see the carving.
They can barely
right?
see. Yeah, it's like they can't make it out because of the way the light is and where she was positioned. But
So we had
We're at
250.
250.
Woo! Okay, so
Very
if we can
nice.
sustain 250 for 5 minutes, we'll do another giveaway.
Yeah.
What other tricks do we? Oh, this was a fun thing. For the
yeah.
front. I don't know if
This
can
little
you
guy.
see this little.
It's a little dark. Maybe we could. Do I have like a?
I
little-
got it. Don't worry.
Just a little texture, right? Because this temple was like, it used to be a good temple, and then it sank because it got sad. Right?
You know what? I'll make it quick. The Knowing Mistress. This used to be the Temple of the Knowing Mistress, and through it was pre-calamity, and then through the calamity, she sank the temple underneath the ground, and then the Whispered One, which eventually turned out to be Vecna, what am I trying to say? Like took it over.
But so we were trying to get some things that looked kind of majestic and interesting, like the door
Yeah.
bits and whatever. So
The door
it felt like
part
it
was
had
awesome.
some of its former majesty, which has now been corrupted.
Well, because like how do you? That was kind of we talked about like some Forsaken Temple bits, but it was just like that's just like way
Too snaky.
yeah, it's like it's way too one thing, and so how do we make sure that something looks like broken down from what it used to be, and still withhold some of like
Yeah. So here's a question. So we have two questions for the audience. So one, do you have any questions about how we built the sort of front facade? And two, are there any details that were listed in that episode that we're missing, or anything that we could add that's cool? Because there's a couple of things we could add that weren't necessarily in the episode that might bring it up to life or whatever. So we'd love to hear what you guys would like to see to make this a little more wild. We'll do what? Oh yeah,
Do a
we can
drawing?
draw a winner.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So while you guys are going ahead and typing up questions or any comments you have for the front that we could add, we're going to go ahead and draw the winner. We're going to give a few more seconds left. Remember, it's solo. S-O-L-O, like the cup or like Han. And then should we do a countdown?
Yeah.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Smuggler's Coffee!
Brother 514.
Brother
Brother
514,
514.
you have won Smuggler's Coffee.
You are
Look
going to
at
be
that.
caffeinated
Beautiful.
throughout all of your social
Beautiful.
distancing. You will be heavily caffeinated.
Shout out to Smuggler's Coffee also for making us feel alive in these trying times.
Well, these guys, they're game geek coffee geeks, which it's like the perfect combination. So like all the their coffee is barrel aged or barrel roasted or something like.
Yeah, there was a whiskey one.
Yeah, they're like so, and it's all like the names of the coffee. It's all either Star Wars jokes or D&D jokes or
There's a
the Misfits.
Dragonlance one.
Yeah.
Like, I love
Winters
that.
of Coffee's Night.
Yeah.
No, they're awesome, and they're Dwarven Forge fans, and they're dynamite.
All
And
right.
delicious coffee.
And we have a timer going for we're at 266,
Woo.
so as long as we can keep that for 30 minutes, we'll up the prizes.
Whoa, we're gonna give away resin. This is gonna be
Yeah.
wow. All right. So, does anybody have any questions about how we built anything, or is there any details that we didn't include that you would have included?
Are you going to show how you did the hand? What did you use for that?
Yeah,
Oh,
we will.
we're in the outside right now.
Still
Off the
outside.
No, but we will certainly discuss that.
I'd love to see it with minifigures. Can the stairs hold the mini?
Yes, they can.
How
And
did you
also,
make the pillars look like marble?
Okay. So that's a
I
lot
can-
to unpack. Do you know where the stair jacks? Yeah.
yes, I do.
Bet.
That's what I'm saying. I can
So
grab some stairs.
the pillars. This was our limited edition marble paint scheme, and it's actually the trick on these is the marble was a floating decal. So Janet created a 12 by 12 inch marble texture, which then gets turned into like a tiny film decal which gets suspended on a liquid surface, and then the piece gets lifted up through the decal and it sticks to the area. I don't know, it's a whole process, but it's basically a floating decal that then keeps all the texture but gives you this really cool marble texture. So actually Janet created that marble texture in Photoshop, believe it or not, with some photos of real marble. Wild.
Is it going to be available again?
No. It was limited edition in our Dungeon of Doom Kickstarter. So we sometimes do limited edition bits in our Kickstarter. Like our Hellscape Kickstarter, we have this limited edition resin. We had the resin Hellgate and Dread Portal. So it's yet another reason to get in on our Kickstarters, because we'll do some limited edition paint schemes or limited edition pieces or whatnot. It's the only time to get them. But the regular pillars, we have these pillars in regular color, are available on our site, and you could paint the marble yourself if you want. All right, so someone was asking about miniatures. Of course, I don't have a miniature, do we?
Do you think Hammy would be mad if I grabbed
No,
one?
hamster.
yeah, grab one of hamsters.
Hamster and
I'm
So-
gonna grab a grog.
So these, let me see, the top stairs here, you can flip them over and use them as a little riser. So we have a couple of them, so you can put your minis on the stairs and actually battle your way up the stairs. If you have to run up 200 feet of stairs.
This
you
guy
know,
looks
that
like
guy
a
gets-
grog.
A couple of
It's a
questions
little small for them.
on the LED torches. What are the LED torches on the wall? It says hip brain,
Hip brain.
and then
Oh, I bet. So we should back up real quick
okay.
and tell people tell them what we are. We're Dwarven Forge. Like, what we.
So we're Dwarven Forge. Welcome. We make some of the most detailed, and it's hand sculpted, hand painted modular terrain. It's usable in a lot of different settings. We use it
Grab, like,
for
2 more.
D&D or for wargaming. If you are new to the channel and a critter, welcome. You may have seen us on the Critical Role Dwarven Forge camp.
Yeah.
But we're a company full of artists trying to make your miniature world a little bit better.
Yeah.
Think small, build big, or big. Think
Big dream
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
That's fine.
yeah, you know,
So
big
we,
stuff, small
um,
stuff.
Yep. So we got sniper cam here. So we have a bunch of our LED pieces like this one. We actually have modular LEDs. So there's a little tiny socket in there, so you can change out your lighting. So if you want to throw a torch in instead of the rune claw, or maybe a glowing serpent orb. Can I get it in here? Oh man.
Should we choose a keyword for the dice?
Yeah.
All right.
Keyword is Nate's going blind.
Keyword
there
is
it is.
blind.
I can't blind.
BLIND.
So this has a 2032 magnet inside and a switch on the back, so you just unscrew the bottom and change out the magnet if you want. You can turn it on and off in your sessions.
You said magnet. Do you mean battery?
By magnet, I mean battery. Keep me honest, Tyler. It's good. So what were they typing in? Blind?
Blind.
To win, what are they winning? Show them,
To
Chris,
win the
show 'em what
dice.
they're winning.
Next up is the dice. So these die-hard dice have a little anvil
An
on it.
anvil.
Don't know why I said it like
It's
that.
a classy
Sorry,
anvil.
Hello.
But they made it with the collaboration of our company. They're awesome people.
We'll get there. When
And
we
you
get
have
there.
a chance to win it.
Yeah. They're really cool custom dice. We did a lot of weird things, like the D8 is not. It's an isosceles triangle. We stretched it a little bit rather than a standard equilateral triangle. So it's got a little It's got some heft to them. They're metal colors. They're dynamite. Do you see these guys play?
Something I found on the Stairjacks as well is that it's like if you wanted to, you can. We do it a lot of the time for our still photos or stuff. But if you put like a little putty or something that like helps stick it on there, it's a lot easier and it
Table
moves a lot
bumpage.
simpler.
White stick is very popular in this office for that.
I love
Yeah.
white stick. Does everything.
What?
Do they have other questions
Yes.
about what we did, or are we missing anything?
Yeah, let us know what you think we could do to jazz up the build. A question from Noob Anida says, so is there enough of a gap for people to stand in front of those pillars so they could throw rope up / climb up?
Yes, there is.
All right.
So I don't know if you can see, but there's a 1-inch grid baked into the pieces, right? So you can see each of these is a 5-foot square. So yeah, there's room to drop your guy here, throw the rope down, do whatever. Should we add some
up
stuff
there
if
as
nobody?
well.
Oh yeah, right, because they went up here and they went topside.
Yes, they did.
That's why we built
Yeah,
that whole top.
let's add some stuff.
Go ahead and add some stuff.
Because in that art by Joel, there was like all this cool kind of rubble and like because they've been excavating this, right? So
Right, and that was the point. Was that it's like the main part that needed to be excavated was the stairs. Like
Guys.
it needed a good chime.
We're at 329.
What?
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Is a bigger door possible? Says pull the lever DM.
A bigger door?
Yeah, I mean anything's possible. We have a gatehouse that is larger.
351.
Castle gatehouse. But let me show this.
Yeah.
But this is a pretty big. This is a 10-foot wide door, in game terms. Right, and so the doors are hinged, of course. Do we have alternate? I don't know.
Do we have alternate doors? Yeah,
You can pop them out, so you can change out your doors. Grab some other doors, show you the options. But that's that's 2 characters could stand abreast in these doors. It's a big classic double doors. But yeah, we do have a gatehouse, a castle gatehouse that is larger, that we could swap in there. But we're trying to go with the cool pillar temple-esque theme for said Ziggurat. Oh yeah.
Somebody named Stefan Zaltar wants to see
Oh,
some
I've heard of
minis
this
on the
guy.
build.
Woo! Stefano!
Finley Shard says, not sure it was
Welcome back, Finley.
Sepetine / Aztec based in the crit roll, but adding some of the serpentine walls / plinths from Dungeon of Doom would look great for a ziggurat of the Aztec style to break up the walls on the outside of this.
Yes, exactly. Like that is certainly true. And it was partially why it was one of our first thoughts. Was like we could do something like that, but then it turned into, well, I don't feel like I didn't feel like it was going to. It wasn't gonna fit right. Again, it was like it's Aztec in basic architecture, but a lot of like the flavor of it was supposed to be.
It was relatively
other things.
nondescript, right? Like
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah. It wasn't meant to be. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be like super specific to any like one kind of design outside of like the basic architecture. But that's super. But Finley's got it right on. Like it's like if you wanted to do something like that, the serpentine stuff is really good for that.
There's a few over here. Are all the pieces interlocking?
No. Nate will tell you more, but they are not interlocking parts. No. They asked if the parts are interlocking.
no. Gravity and magnets. We'll show the magnets in a sec.
We need a lizard man attack, says Stefan.
Okay.
Getting there. We got. Alright, so.
Kind
At
of like.
381.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Liam just tweeted it out. So.
Yep.
That'll do
So
it.
welcome everybody.
Thank you, Liam.
So,
Hey, Liam, if you're here.
Think
Hey.
of- oh!
Oh, jeez.
Don't tell hamster.
It's over.
no.
So this was the.
Okay,
This
that was
is I
supposed to
swapped out the doors to show you that we could swap some
Over
doors
here?
in. We put this kind of elegant, cool Dwarven style doors because they felt more appropriate. But we've got a variety of different doors.
Just gonna set them over here to be safe.
Could even put your rustic wooden gate in there if you
Mhm.
want.
I would love that. I would love to see a build that's like this giant dungeon type. Well, you know, you could say that it's a
This beautiful,
makeshift.
elegant.
It's
Well,
a
yeah.
makeshift door. It's like
Maybe
like,
the original door got destroyed.
Yeah, and they're just like, okay, this is.
When the temple got so
Ooh.
sad that it sunk into the ground,
So-
the doors came off.
What's up?
Because of the time lapse, you guys built this in 10 minutes? You guys moved that fast?
Yeah.
Or how long do you think that
It was
took you?
roughly
Roughly
5 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah, it's because we were also, as we were building, realizing certain limitations of spacing and like, you know, some of the stuff was like, oh, we've got 15 squares when we need 14 or
It's a
16
good thing
or-
we didn't have 40 of these elevation platforms because it
God.
would have gotten at it. It would have gotten outrageous.
we would be going a long way on this table.
Oh, I was
Oh.
going to show.
We hit 400 for just a second.
Oh, if we can hit
Well.
land there. So I was going to show. This is not.
Yes.
This is not in the original. Like it was very dark and whatever, but it felt like these braziers are the sort of thing that we could have put on there to make it really really zigguratted up or something.
I would
Each of
love
the
it right-
corners. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
corners.
right by the staircases
You know what this
is
is?
such a great.
It's very Conan.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when he's going up to
With
Falsa
Falsa
Doom.
Dooms and-
Yeah.
Yep.
What is the riddle of steel? No?
I've never, obviously.
Oh, you've never seen.
I guess
Ah.
we're just the
Hear
coolest
the
people.
lamentations of the women.
Like the weakest voice too. It's like,
Oh.
I can't hear you.
Crush your enemies.
Uh,
See them driven before you.
just so worried about it.
Just like Rick and Morty.
what's-
Oh jeez.
Let's show them some other rubble. What else
Yeah.
do we have? What do we got? Yeah.
Well, we've got
Ooh.
the. Yeah, I was gonna say this is this is the city builder stuff that we have. But yeah, ledges as well.
So we have
One more
15
of these.
minutes left on the timer, but since we're at 400,
I
just
mean,
don't drop out, guys.
just stay
Everybody's
here.
announcing
Just
it's
stay here.
400. And it's like,
Resin.
we did great. Thank you so much
I'll
for
move,
coming.
I'll move this rubble here so
Keep
that we
it
can
going.
have a uniform
I believe in
design.
you. Mace fail again.
There.
How?
What? No. Mace
No,
succeed.
Mace-
Mace
Mace
succeed.
Mace win. Mace,
Mace
win.
win always.
Mace
Mace
win
win
do?
do.
Mace win do. Are there any details from this episode that we're missing here?
Yeah, people haven't really added that much of that, but is this the tallest build you've ever created?
No. Yeah, there's like the Necromancer's Keep is. I don't know, just looking to see what it's.
Okay.
Necromancer's Keep comes in at like 30 inches high or
It's-
something,
yeah.
28 inches.
How many
no,
staircases?
We've done a lot of taller.
How many staircases are there?
Stair pieces.
Staircases
Ooh.
is
1, 2, 3. Here.
it's
I'll
like
pop 'em off
it's two every.
See these?
So it's
So we've got these
1,
times
2, 3, 4, 5 per, and
So
then 2 rows, so 30
plus the
30.
toppers.
plus these.
There's plus the we got these underneath.
Also, will you explain to me what bidet
Ha!
means?
So bidet is bidet critters. If people are saying bidet
Yeah,
in the
they
chat,
are.
great. Bidet back to you. Bidet is a inside joke of the of campaign 1. They go to another city, if I recall, and it's like a greeting was very, very, very. They basically made it up as a greeting to other people. It's like a fancy way of greeting people. Bidet. And it's mainly Travis. Travis was kind of the instigator for that.
All right, bidet, everyone. Also, if you're new here, because we have so many new viewers, if you type blind into the chat, you have a chance to win a set of dice.
What? Yes.
What kind of dice?
They're Die Hard dice.
Woo!
And they're
Die Hard.
Sick. Die Hard, die.
We were doing a lot of
It's German.
Simpsons,
It means
The
hard
die.
V.
Yeah, yeah. Look at those buttes.
trying to
but yes.
dirty it up with
Bidet is one of my favorite jokes from campaign 1. It's
That should
really
have
good.
been. It's the next word.
Yeah,
Right? No, everybody's already typed it.
it's
yeah,
true.
It's a little, yeah.
Easy
It's
give.
US only.
Yes, it is U.S. only. Sorry. All of the contests are U.S. only. If you live outside of the United States, we just need a United States address. So if you have a good pal,
Also, employees of Dwarven Forge, Stefan, are not eligible to win like they did that one.
oh my gosh,
That one was really funny though.
that
Alright,
was
so-
pretty funny.
For those of you that are new, Stefan is our founder, and he on the first stream he won the giveaway. Then we had to give it to somebody else because that's not fair.
I mean, we can use some
Put
of
some
these
rubble.
too.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Would you guys ever do a tiki style set?
Tiki style?
That's
Well,
what it
okay,
is.
let me ask you this, whoever you are. How many times have you been on an adventure where you were like, man, the thing we need here is like a tiki lounge?
In real life?
No,
All the
no.
time. Always.
Yeah, in miniature.
Every
world.
adventuring party needs a tiki lounge.
Yeah.
Well, if I
Okay.
had a
You
tiki
pop up
lounge
that
set, I
tiny
would use it more
umbrella.
often. If you had a tiki
come-
set, we'd go there.
Any
You come
set
into
you
the
put that tiny
Mage's
umbrella on
dungeon.
is a tiki set.
And there, sitting at his tiki bar, making a Mai Tai, is the great wizard Zoltar.
Hey guys, I've been drinking here all day.
I love that. That would be great. I think that would be. That's exactly a Zoltar thing to do. It's just like.
Instead of a tiki bar.
Yeah, like have like his own cool personal thing. Like he's like, look.
He said tiki lounge, now I need a drink.
Where is our rebel? Do we use all the
No, we brought it all. It's all on the ground next to you.
Ooh!
It's literally.
We need a Monkey Island themed D&D adventure.
That would be
And
very,
I
very
agree.
fun.
LeChuck would be cool to verse.
Yeah, we were gonna try and do the last layer of the Ziggurat on the stream, but
It's good that we didn't. 'cause
it was a little
it was
dicey.
gonna be dicey.
Haha.
See, dice 20 sided.
Should we
Much
go
like
ahead
Die Hard
and
Dicey. Yeah,
call
speaking of
that
dicey.
giveaway?
What
Yeah.
time are we at?
We are at 7:35.
Well, I meant like for the. You said that. What's the? How much longer do we have?
That's for
Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, that's a different one.
Yeah, we're like
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then let's
So-
do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So remember, blind. We're gonna give you 10 more seconds. And
I'm going blind.
8,
Well, they're gonna
Seven,
7,
6,
6, 5, 4,
3, 2,
1.
1.
Merc 90.
Merc.
Merc.
Congrats on the
He's a
die.
He's a mercenary, clearly, with a heart of gold. Yeah.
Merc.
With a
Mercy cake.
what did he win? The dice.
He won the dice.
Amazing.
All
All
right.
right, should we set the timer for our next
You
thing?
can do so many different.
We're still on the timer for the rest.
Got it.
Right.
Right. Wow. That was the next thing.
That was
started
yeah,
already.
yeah.
Yeah. Calm down.
All right.
4:30 right now.
Wow.
Yes. So.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you for coming. Like this is a lot of fun, and we will.
Rock you?
We will.
Yeah.
I
That is the
shouldn't.
thing.
Yeah, don't let me.
That's real.
'Cause I might.
Don't hold
I mean,
the
don't stop me now.
They're having a good time. Alright,
She
so
started
let's
it.
so Tyler.
Yeah.
Let's say we
Sunday.
were gonna play some D&D before
I
this game,
would love
right?
that.
With some of our friends, gather a group of voice actors and play some D&D.
Some nerdy ass
and
voice
run a
actors.
yeah some nerdy and play a thing. So
We put Dungeons and Dragons.
now that we've built this, like, what would this change? Do you think this would change the encounter as written? Right? If
Yes.
they were doing this instead of on Matt's dry erase board, if he'd taken the 5
Yeah.
hours to build this on the tiny
Oh, yeah.
geek and sundry table that
I
wouldn't
don't
fit
even have
it.
to. I don't
Like,
even.
what would how would that have played out?
So what you're seeing is that it, like from the map, he basically had about this much to play with. So this is the staircase that they fought on. This is
Oh.
sorry, I was trying to
No,
show you.
yeah.
This they basically played from about this up, and they all they really had was like this kind of area to mess
They
with.
had a door. They had a couple of pillars and a little.
Yeah, and so it's like if they had something like this, I mean, honestly, you have characters like Grog, who would probably have done something with the rubble. He probably would have done something with the.
some.
He would have done something. You have with like Vax, like you have someone who had more places to hide or to maneuver around. Same thing with Percy, except by that point he was kind of his guns weren't working as much, so he had to take out the sword. He was like running out of ammunition. But then you have like Keyleth as well. She has like fire. If he had put these there, let's say if those weren't there, then like
They weren't. They look.
but they look cool. I think again,
He
it's
would
supposed
have
to be
put them
low light. Like
Yeah.
if he would have done something about that. He would have said something. But
Can you
I
get
think
Can you get these in the sniper
I've
can,
been-
the braziers?
I've been
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it.
So-
you're
Braziers.
talking about a party of like 6 or 7 who are all different classes and like do have like a bunch of different ways, and they're fighting. Technically, they're only fighting 2 enemies or 3 because Cassandra was still.
Were there some minions?
Well, Cassandra and Vax were actually mind controlled at the time. So at the start of the fight, it was 6 versus 4. So it's like there weren't as many minions. It was really just that, and so they were trying not to hurt their friends while also hitting Delilah and Silas. Where Delilah is this really great caster, and Silas is a vampire. So personally, yeah, I think that this would have changed the outcome of the battle because they would have had places to run over here or to they would have had other opportunities to mess with the
It
terrain.
makes me feel like if I was doing a thing here, I feel like this guy would be at disadvantage. Like let's say we're doing it. He's a like
Yeah.
it's looking at these stairs. This thing like this guy would definitely would be in trouble.
Yeah, he's at
He
a
feels-
very distinct height disadvantage. It's something where it's like if that's a melee character,
There's no
versus a
railing
melee-
too. There's like
No, it's
yeah.
all open. So that's my other point. It's like you have people like Grog, who Grog would go in and grapple a bunch of stuff all the time. So he probably would have just grabbed somebody and just thrown them over the side or
Yeah.
something like that.
Into the breach.
Liketh wonders if
He
this
liketh
was,
it.
He liketh, and he taketh. Is this the episode where Vex discovered that flying was her favorite thing ever?
Kind of, yes. It was. She didn't have the broom yet, but that's later. That's. But she gets up here, and I can't remember how she gets up there. In the sense that, like, I think maybe she gets. I don't think anybody had a flying spell at that moment. But she
So
learns
she had the
later.
potion of flying. Says break
That's
all
what
the
it is.
pots.
Yes.
I guess that's a Zelda reference. Break all the pots.
Break all the pots. Sounds like it.
Alright.
Yeah. Then yeah, she had the potion of flying because that was how she got up here, and then she dropped down a rope for everybody to climb up here so that they didn't have to try to break through the doors. And they were trying to just like get an advantage on top.
So, does anybody else have any other questions or comments on the outset before we go inside? Right? Should we kick down the doors and get crazy?
So I guess post your outdoors comments. There is a question from Infernal Jester 94. What is the project you folks are most proud of when it was completed?
Caverns Deep.
Caverns Deep.
Caverns Deep was our 6th Kickstarter, and it was an overly epic extravaganza. It was a Herculean task to complete the thing. There was 240 sculpts, I think, and just outrageous. 15 huge encounters. That's when we premiered the Dread Hollow Forest. Ooh, we should show them that.
Also, a gentle reminder to both of you to please enunciate. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we're at 5 minutes left on the timer. So as long as we sustain these numbers, guys, we will add another giveaway in.
This was when we had the here it is. So like the Dread Hollow Forest, we introduced these forest tiles, which were just unbelievable. Our sculpting team and painting team, everybody really, crushed it with these. This was the trees are modular, so you can change them out. The 1-inch grid is hidden in there. Endless amounts of plants sculpted. And this transitions you into cave, right? So cave you can boop, boop. We had cool things like the spirit tree. Oh man, we don't have enough light over here. It's big. That had a whole LED elements. So yeah, Caverns Deep is definitely, I think, our biggest, most just sprawling accomplishment to date. What is it in your oh, it's crossing.
Do you know what kind of batteries? Says Crystallis
Crystallis.
10 Crystallis, yep.
CR
1024.
CR 2032.
Wow, reading is not
CR.
mine.
Say it again.
2032s.
CR 2032s.
Yeah, which are you can get them at CVS or any drugstore or Amazon or something. When life is back to normal, they're easy to get.
Yeah.
And also easy to drain. Don't stack them on top of each other if they're
Yes.
unwrapped.
Keep them wrapped.
Yes.
As I learned.
It looks like
Should we go
most
in?
equipment. It looks like it's time to go inside.
So we should give something away first. Right?
We should give something away. We still have 3 minutes, but while we're waiting for the giveaway timer to wrap up, or I guess we have the other giveaway, right?
Which one?
No, we did the.
Wait, no, we did it. Sorry,
we did the
yeah.
Die Hard.
We could give a shout out to other Kickstarters that are
Oh,
currently
yeah,
going
yeah.
on. We have Monty Cook doing a Tollis Kickstarter. They're currently at 23 hours, so be sure to go and get it in. I'm going to copy the link, but they have a very cool. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's Monty Cook, the legendary game designer from 3rd edition D&D. He made this epic. Claire's killing us. He made this epic. Epic setting and encounter. At this point, it's like 1,000 pages of material, and he's updating it to 5th edition and the Cipher system. Big Dwarven Forge fan. He builds out all those maps with our dungeons and like just awesome all around guy. Their team they make some really cool stuff, and they have about a day left on this Kickstarter. They're at 600K or something, and cruising. They've been blowing through stretch goals and looking great. Yeah, they're awesome. We love those guys. Very creative team.
Sorry, I'm answering a question.
That's fine.
And then the next Kickstarter we have is Real Game Effects. They're doing their fog monster.
That's correct. It's a tabletop fogger, so it's about yay big and it churns out low-hanging fog. I think Matt used it in the swamp battle a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, with the hag.
Yeah, and it's a water-based fog, so you don't need any fluids or anything. It's pretty cool micro fogger. It's low-lying, so it feels it's awesome. We big fan of those guys making their fogs. Their stuff is really cool.
Will you be a little bit louder? It's hard to hear you in the
loud.
back. Yeah. And then our final Kickstarter that we wanted to help promote is the Norse Foundry Adventures and Adversaries. They have 9 days left to go, but they actually were kind enough to send us some of their minis, and they're very cool. They're modular, so you have a lot of different options.
We love modular.
We love
The
modular.
arms
Turns
pop
out.
off, so you can
Change out the
re-equip.
arms.
Yeah, if you're playing the rogue, you swap in the dagger arm and the short sword arm or whatever. If you're playing,
That's actually I like that a
they've
lot.
got
Like
heads. They've got multiple heads, multiple arms, and you can pop them out. If you want, you can put little tiny magnets in them, and then you can swap them. You can like change them out like during the game or whatever.
yeah.
But, yeah, they're pretty cool.
Oh, that's the timer for the big giveaway.
But was that
Are
all
you
of
sure we're
our-
not leveling up?
What should
Casting a spell?
Sorry.
it's a blessing.
The keyword should be.
Is this the resin?
This is for the resin set. This is the
This
big
is
one.
Cavern Rivers. Wait, let's show them what they're. Let's show them what it is. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's up on screen.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Look at it. So it's a multi-part resin pour. So the water is separate from, or it's raised above the base of the water. This is like everybody loves these water pieces. They're so cool. And this is the rivers, cavernous rivers. And so there's freestanding walls, so you can make like river tunnels and whatever. And these things are a crowd pleaser, and they're resin, 4x4 base. They're dynamite. So what should our secret word be?
Ziggurat.
Oh boy.
What's grog?
What's something people haven't written?
Maybe something that has to do with the lake.
Bridge.
Bridge. Let's do bridge. So BRIDGE bridge.
It's like a bridge over troubled water.
You and your song references. Wow. It wasn't a compliment. It was just a comment. Go ahead and enter the word bridge. You have a chance to win this giveaway. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, in sustaining these numbers, we can't do these live streams without you guys
Honestly,
and your
yeah.
support. So
Well, the point of doing these giveaways is to help get some people to show up and help push us over to partner, and we're gonna do it.
yeah.
You guys are making it happen. We're hitting partner.
Also, we want to give back to you as well, like in that way. Like we want to be able to say like, here's something cool that we can give you that.
Well, making this terrain or dice, it's like it doesn't mean anything if it's not on your table. If you're not using it, and you're not playing with it. Like the whole point is,
Yeah.
we want these to be out in the wild. We want it to be enhancing your game. And we want you to be out there telling the best stories and having this epic time with your friends and escalating it, building a ridiculously whatever this is, like a 18-inch tall ziggurat to impress
It's
your friends.
it's so fun. Like, on any regular game table, maybe quote unquote.
Define regular.
I just mean to say, like at a regular home, somebody might be like, I don't know if it's practical. All my people sit down when they play, but like this would be so energizing to me. Like if this was like revealed. Imagine just like this giant box covering all of this.
A refrigerator box.
Yeah,
You're like,
you just put
Like,
it
wow,
over
that's
top.
a tall grid.
well, it's, no, but it is the thing the thing you notice about 3D terrain, and people at conventions come up and tell us this too all the time, is it changes the dynamic of combat. As soon as you drop all this stuff down there, people are looking. They're like, "What's my line of sight?
Yeah.
Can I jump off this thing? You know, can Grodd
That's-
throw the guy off the edge?
That's the thing with my group too, is that like I have some visual thinkers, but not all of them are, and so it's one of those things where if you can drop something like this, any amount of, again, like even just battle mats are great for that. Like, and with some cool scatter things with like, okay, cool, I can hide behind this pillar because I know how big it is, but it just gives such a better definition for a lot of players to say like, ooh, cool. Maybe this isn't the exact visual you want me to see, but this is how I'm supposed to imagine the space and be able to
it's
move
a focal
through.
point, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has something to look at. They're all on the same page. We're all like, okay.
It
I
also
know where
helps
my
with
guy
like,
is.
oh, I can move 30 feet, so I got to
Yep.
count out how many 30 is, and so.
Turns out the whole party is in the fireball.
Oh yeah.
Now that we're in here, are we ready to
Yeah.
go to?
Ready?
All
All
right,
right, so let's
Well,
go.
did we-
in
let's
the-
delve
get a-
inside. They're still entering. Bridge.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I was making sure we didn't.
Yeah.
If you want to win the resin cavern set, type bridge.
You already have 200 entries.
Yeah.
Let's get 500.
All right, let's go in.
Oh,
Let's go
God.
take a look.
I have holes in my mouth. I kept spilling water on myself.
All right, so what do we have here, Tyler? What happened here? They jumped over the wall. They
Yes.
come in. There was a nice lady reading a library book at the top of a thing with a marble.
Yes, Delilah Briarwood, after the death of Silas on the outside of the room, he was turned to ash from a sunbeam from Keyleth. She rushes in to finish the rituals that they were starting in the first place. The team, Vox Machina, jumps up to the top.
She's like slammed the door. Is that
Yeah,
why-
she's
that's
closed
why they,
the
like,
door,
went-
and they were
went
like,
topside, right?
Yeah, they were like, we don't know what to expect from this, and so let's go
Because there were
up
traps
top.
previously.
Yes.
Right? There's acid.
There was an acid trap. There were several different things that the entire town of Whitestone was like a bunch of zombies.
Yeah, don't
So-
chase the big bad guy through the
No,
door.
if
because
you've got
it's-
a way up,
Yep.
and then this is all open space anyway. So what we're looking at is there was a central pillar that was raised with a at the time there was a sphere collecting with these like steps up, and so Delilah was finishing the ritual up here. There was a groove in the ground that was not very specifically defined by Matt as soon as they looked at it, but once
It
they
was
got
too
in
dark
there,
to see, right?
yeah, it was something like that. And Delilah, through the rest of the last part of the fight, was able to complete the ritual and create this sphere, basically what amounted to like a sphere of annihilation.
Which we have.
But
We're
they-
here with our
Yeah.
Orb of the Overlord. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Overlord.
There's a lot of comments on the hand shadow as well. They don't know if it's trickery.
It's,
or not.
So
We will talk about
it's
it.
All right.
Yeah. Well, so
And so it's just like this was the last moment right
Can you
before she
lie?
died. She was able to get this done.
Or you mean like move the camera away?
yeah, I don't know. Just like show the space, like so they can see.
Well, that's what they have in the overhead.
Oh, they can't see a little.
Hand
What
foolery.
is, well, can we show this? Like,
Hand foolery. I do
the
like that.
entry and the
It's not lit.
So while we're waiting, we can draw the final, the prize.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So we'll give you 10 more seconds, obviously, right,
Bridge.
Bridge? I'll do a slower countdown. So 10, 9,
That is
8,
slow.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Giveaway bridge.
Damn floor.
I saw what is it?
Dan Floor.
Dan
Floor.
Floor.
All
right,
right,
Dan, if you're in
congrats.
the,
You
in
won
the
the
United
resin
States.
set.
We will send you we're gonna send you this cool resin set.
I saw a question in there that I thought was interesting, and I'll say it while get the worm out of there. Did they take inspiration from our sets for the CR animated show that's coming out? I can say no, but also maybe. Like I heavily doubt it. They certainly have not asked us or talked to us about that. I heavily doubt that they would take inspiration from our stuff. Mainly because they have a team of really great artists already. So.
And like just the endless amount of fan art.
Yeah.
Like quality fan art that's out there is staggering.
Like the 2 art books that they've been able to make, almost 3 if I remember correctly now. It's like the wealth of information about this stuff. It's like why we used a fan art of it to help kind of create the idea of it all together. Is that it's like I'm sure they took from a lot of stuff. I would doubt they would take from ours.
This intersection here. So everything else in this build is Dwarvenite, but this inner bits here, everything except for this central pillar, is all from our Realm of the Ancients. These are our old resin pieces, right? So these are the super fragile. Let me see that. These my 7-year-old son helped me pack these up this morning.
He was super excited about it.
Yeah. He loved having them well wrapped. He loves, you know what? Because handling resin is like this safe, that's the forbidden fruit. It's like it's special to handle resin. I brought in the Realm of the Ancients from the home collection so we could have enough to build out this inner bit. So we did all this stuff with the Realm of the Ancients because it felt like it was once majestic and a temple of good that is now fallen. And
that's what I like about it too. It's like it's got because again, it's got this white motif that was talked about again, like
the white and
in
green.
The actual build of this temple. It was made from the white stone of that area, so it's like it's got this really good.
And we cheated with some of these, like this over the door. This is
those are what the steps
dais,
that we've used over here as well to kind of like.
Do you own every resin set, Nate?
I'm missing. There's some dungeon stuff that I'm missing, and there's a lot of dungeon things. I don't have the old the ogre's den and stuff, but I have a decent resin collection.
Mr. Strothman, it was not a temple to Pelor; it was a temple to the Knowing Mistress, which I believe eventually was revealed to be Ayun.
Do you want to talk to them about this hand? Did you get a nice? I'm gonna move this so they can see
we'll lift that up
see
and
the artistry here.
And should we
let's do
start
that.
the next giveaway? No.
What do we?
We definitely hit it.
We're at 368 right now.
What would we say our special was? 350 or 400?
It was lower.
300?
Yeah, it was lower.
All right, let's start it up.
All right, so the next
just
one we
giving
have is the
everything away.
Gauntlet. That's another half hour.
Ooh, do we have a little video of the gauntlet?
No, we don't.
Still? Oh. All right. Well, it's an epic hallway full of I don't know. There must be 20 traps in there. There's multiple
It's encounter
spike pits.
5 of Dungeon of Doom.
Multiple
correct?
spike pits. There's 4 spike pits, 2 nets. There's 2 flame projectors.
Yes.
There's a moving spear trap.
Yep.
There's an alcove at the end. So maybe it's not 20 traps, but it's a lot. It's
a fair amount.
It's cool. It's got a lot of. It's really good if you have Zoltar's Game Room or a Classic Remaster set or something. It's great to just spice
Any
it up and
magnet
get really
walls too, just like
deadly.
any magnet walls anywhere
Yeah.
are benefited from extra traps like that.
So what's a good code word?
Vecna.
Yeah.
How do you
Vecna is
spell
good.
that?
VECNA.
There's not under 2 C's in Vecna.
No, just one.
VECNA.
That was
So-
the first god I ever served.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his old Claire. Oh God, we're not gonna talk about. It's one of my favorite characters
let's
ever.
Talk
but
about, let's talk about this hand. So, what happened here?
So it again, like lore wise for the show, it was just an added feature to the room. Some part of it was dug out, but also like shadowed in a way. And
And what I did was I took and tried to, as much as possible, like dry brush one of our colors, the deep water green.
Yep.
And take some black as well
We
to
have a picture
help
of Matt's
outline it.
original. Like you were
We
staring
have
at
our-
Matt's original battle map
Yeah, where's
and
the?
copying that.
We have
Oh,
a
right, right.
yeah.
It was
So-
okay.
Basically, I said, you know, we were looking at how like, do we cut a thing out of a piece of paper? Do we do it a cloth with a thing? And I said, you know what?
There was a moment I thought about like dremeling some pieces.
I was
and,
like, Tyler,
take
we're
a
just
groove.
painting it on. And originally I
Yeah.
was like, well, I've got my kids have like removable like finger paint. We do it. No, like we're just gonna permanently mark these 4 beautiful 6x6 limited edition resin pieces in the name of art.
Yeah.
So now they're
forever these.
they're
Vecna
forever
pieces.
marked by Vecna.
Yeah.
These pieces, so you can see the.
What I really love about it too is yeah, if you're gonna show it like this portion on all of the floors, the like
The black.
well more so
Oh,
that
this-
like
this-
just this
yeah.
area being able to be like broken up a little bit. I'm sure. Yeah, let's get get it in the light. Perfect. Yeah, like that to me is just like super cool part of the design because it helps the illusion of a groove with the paint.
The sculpting on these
Yeah.
is outrageous.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that
so
really,
it's so well done that it really helped sell the paint because we did it on the other floors first and it didn't fit as well
We
to
did
me.
some dungeon floors that are permanently
What
painted now.
scale is this?
25 millimeter scale. So each 1 inch square, 25 millimeters is 5 feet. So you can do all your tactical movement. Boom, 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 boom. Do it here.
Great camera work.
So this thing, I was really excited about this thing. So we didn't even turn on the gag, right? So the
No, not yet.
central pillar has, I don't know if you can even see because there's.
We might have to
there's
turn
too
off
much
the.
light.
Shut up.
It looks good.
Okay.
Can you see that? There.
Well, maybe wait. Move your.
Drop that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There you go.
So there's got some glowing bits. So this is two
Of
of
those
our
green-
alcove pieces with a little white stick there with once again removable red rune claws
Mhm.
stuck together to create this perfect circle. We're looking at using a castle,
And it just
piece.
turned out to be too big.
and then we have this summoning circle piece. We have some LED floors, illuminated floors that this goes over, and the same thing. The idea is you illuminate it so it glows, and it was like the perfect thing
Yeah.
to turn into a cool like platform.
One of my favorite parts about this design too that Matt did, like in the drawing, that it was when we were discussing it that I was realizing like one of my favorite parts about it is like Vecna's 2 signifiers are his hand and the eye of Vecna, and when you look at Matt's like initial drawing, and it's wait, do we have the
It's in the
paper over
corner.
there?
Right hand.
Okay. I'm gonna grab it real quick because like I want to see if I can.
So, what are these from Kickstarter?
The braziers
wise?
are from City Builder System.
Also, someone says you're now a hand model. Ha 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 ha.
Oh,
You know,
Bane Stabber Walker.
I was at Gen Con 3 years ago, I'm gonna say, and I was walking over. We were gonna run a game. We had a hammered game table that was like 12 feet long, full of terrain, and we were running a game for like 12 players in the middle of the Lucas Oil Stadium. And I was walking over, and some guy said, "Hey, I know you. You're that Dwarven Forge hand model." And I was like, "Well, I mean, to some degree, yes, but yeah." So yes, I am a hand model now.
So I'm gonna. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, so that's the original. That's the original drawing, and what I love about this is that like what you can see is this hand outline, but then if you look at that, it looks like the eye held within the hand.
The eye of Vecna.
And so, I don't know. Like to me, that was just such a cool. Like, what if it was intentional? Great. If it wasn't, he's a genius.
It's even better if he didn't try.
You know what? He's never gonna tell.
No,
he's
of course not.
Like,
But like,
no,
all
it's
I
a really
mean by
good
that
bit.
is like, if it's intentional, it means that it's like that
Yeah.
purposeful touch is like so great. But even if it was just by accident, it's like that's a happy accident.
It was
That's a
really
Bob
good
Ross accident. That's
Yeah.
like yes, that's like what you want to see is like me reading into something, and I think that's kind of like what I like about our pieces as well, is just the opportunity to
You read a story
Just-
in there. There's a thing.
Yeah.
And there's there's tons of details which
like
are
this
intentional.
braiding could like a player character could sit there and talk about this and be like, wait, why is this there? And then the DM could either have thought about it or not and spin some stuff about it.
Chances are they did not. think
Probably
of it.
didn't. But like, let's hope. Let's
Alright,
wish.
So let's look at what happened in this room. So in the episode, they went up and over,
Yes.
dropped down in and did the fight.
Yes.
So what? So how? So if this was seeing this built out, how do you think the fight would have changed? So they were coming up from right, they're coming up over here.
Mm-hmm.
How would the fight have been different? If this was versus the battle mat, the flat 2D battle mat. How do you think the battle would have been different?
Well, a very clear indication of it's sort of similar to what we were talking about at the front end, is any indication of actual verticality is huge. When somebody can tell that somebody is above them, they make a lot of different choices. Like, if they know, okay, this staircase is the only thing that leads up to them being right here, and I'm a melee fighter, I guess I have to go up there. Versus if it's on the battle mat and it's flat, and you're just like, okay, this person's here, then they have to continue to be told, no, they are higher than you. You can't actually hit them. So it's one of those. It's again one of those visual,
Cues?
more just like visual like dissonance, where it's just like it's harder to tell.
It's hard to imagine verticality on
on a 2D plane.
I'll
so
tell you, this fall, this drop
makes
like,
it a lot
you see
harder
that,
to
like-
try to do. It makes it a lot
like thinking about like,
scarier.
that fall. That's a 20-foot fall. That looks scary. When you in real life, I would not want to.
No, I
would not wanna do
wouldn't.
that.
I'd like hang off the side first and then just like
Yeah.
work my way down.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Oh, I was showing it. This you can flip over one of the stairs.
Just like the other
and
ones.
Oh,
use
wow.
the stairs upside down, and it's like a stair jack. If you want to
Yeah.
get your character up on the thing.
But I think other than that, this doesn't have. This room is less. You can pick less from than like the stairs. So the fight really does become centered around wherever the enemy is, and so it's more about, okay, how do we stay alive? Because at this point, a lot of them were out of spells. A lot of them were really low on HP because of Silas's sword, which became a plot point for Grog later on too. It was this sword that like sucked blood as it got more blood, it got stronger, and it gave the person like better effects and like better strength. So it was this, it was a huge fight that like lasted a long time, and so this was culminating at the end of that. So a lot of choices probably, like you said, like the drop down here probably would have been thought about more. And
So are there in the chat? Are there any questions? Are there any details that we're missing? Or are there any questions on this build? Ooh, and I know a detail if they don't think of it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
Craven Edge was a glorious weapon.
yeah, that's the sword, Craven Edge.
Craven Edge, sorry. More like Crayon Edge, says GM Nightbear. What's under the floor?
Crayon Edge. What's under the floor?
What's under the floor?
So a lot
Lower
of
floor.
just the elevation platforms, really.
Somebody says more dead people. Jail Bloom.
We have a six high elevation platforms stacked, and some terrain trays.
I missed earlier. How did you build up the base for everything to sit on? What is supporting everything?
Elevation platforms. We have
Yeah.
these 12 by 12, basically dungeon boxes. They're all built into the thing, but they all have dungeon texture on the top and all the sides. They can sit either 38 millimeters high or 50 millimeters high if you use the lid. You can also use them for storage, but they're really good risers if you want to build stuff up. And in this case, we needed to build a lot of stuff up to build these levels.
Yeah. This circle, this pentagram circle, is from Caverns Deep. It is available in Encounter 1 Adventure
Summonings.
Pack.
Yep.
Ooh.
Or
Yeah.
just the full encounter.
Or the full encounter.
Vorpalboard Dad says, "What are you
Hey!
opening, Nate?
What are we opening?
What are you opening?"
The
Oh,
sound.
how can he see it? Oh.
How tall is the pyramid overall? It's like
Oh.
almost 2 feet.
Okay.
So the
I don't know what that does, but
I mean,
those
like,
are hands.
oh,
you
those are-
know? How
yeah.
can you put
Speaking
your
of
fingers?
It's about my
maybe
forearm,
Before we
yeah.
go back, so we should talk about the Vorpal board. So there's this. We were calling out our Kickstarter friends, but we didn't call out our buddies at Vorpal Board. So they make this really, really cool virtual platform. For if you want to do gaming like D&D with terrain, or even a board game or card game, whatever. It's hooks up to your webcam and has this unbelievable interface, so that all the remote players can mouse over what all the stuff is. They zoom in on it, and you can see their cursors. They can show you where they want to move. It's the best solution for virtual D&D that uses analog boards. So you can build your terrain out, or have your battle mat or whatever. But it's an unbelievable solution for it. Anyway, we have something cooking with them in the coming weeks, which we're really excited to show, because it's such a great. It beats any other thing that I've seen out there for virtual play, particularly if you're using analog.
Yeah.
You know,
They have awesome effects, and for a time like this, it's kind of like really good at connecting people who like aren't right next to you.
Yeah.
It's insane what they've been able to do. So excited to work with you. Thanks for coming in the chat. What are you opening?
So this
What's that
is,
you're sniffing?
This is snow. So in the description, right when they walk in, there's ice on the walls that shatters and drops down. We're gonna put some ice, because in the Matt's drawing, right around the edges, there's this little tiny. There's like he took the time to build out little bits. Man, so not only have I brought in my Realm of the Ancients
Oh.
Oh man.
and painted
just realizing.
in
Yeah,
This is gonna be-
yep.
yeah. This was Shad Ross's idea. The snow he recommended. He
Yeah.
used it for this build he did for Idle Champions, and I was like, it was the best thing ever, but it was the worst cleanup ever. Don't ever use it.
You know what? I did see in chat too. That's. Oh yeah, there were dead bodies behind the ice.
Ooh.
That's what I was. I was like. I was
That's
about
where
to
the
say
bodies-
that, and I was also about to say.
Oh, do you have them?
What's really we could have put catacombs and like, would have been Jerry rigging it, but like but
First time for that.
but also this room was like nullifying magic, like all the magic was like going into, if I recall,
Getting
it was
absorbed
like
by the sphere.
yeah, like it was something where it was like some of their stuff was not working properly, and so it was like adding to the difficulty of taking down this caster.
Wow, it does look like all the ice in the world just shattered off the walls, and the things we do.
I think we're
Someone
good for the
said-
Ziggurat, right? Sorry,
So
not the
what was the
Ziggurat.
word? No. It
Yeah,
was,
not the
Ziggurat was too hard to
Ziggurat.
spell.
Wow.
Yeah.
We chose something simple like Vecna.
Yeah, VECNA. We have actually 5 more minutes on that,
Woo,
so
5 more minutes to type
feel free to
Vecna
enter
win
now.
The Gauntlet.
Looks like Broken Glass is Shane Patrick.
You know, Shane Patrick, I have the glitteriest glitter from the makers of the blackest black and the pinkest pink and the glowiest glow, and it's they make glitter that is shaved glass.
But how could you see me? The
But
glass
it's
was
so-
frosted.
No idea.
Yep. Nope.
I get it.
All right. So are there any
Only
questions?
one. If I only get one.
You got one. Let's see. We have a lot of
Doesn't read on camera,
Vecnas.
does it?
Oh, you know what we should do?
It
We should
looks
open
so
up.
good on the.
We should open up to so that they can see what we did back here.
Oh yeah. Here. Which one is the easiest? Yeah. Can you see this glitter?
When are you going to make walls that have all the bodies stuck in them? It says EMW_3. No, it's
So what we did was. Are you making the
We're
ice
making
glow?
an ice disco. Yeah.
Does the altar in the middle light up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
it
you
is
like
lit
us to-
right now.
Yeah. It's lit.
Lit.
Can I see? Oh wait, if it helped if my hand in front of the camera was.
Yeah.
Knighthood
It's okay, it's
X
just the
says, I thought you had walls with arms sticking out of it. No?
We have a floor with arms sticking out of it.
Yeah.
The Moor pool in Hellscape.
You could probably get away also with that the LED socket that's grasping a
Yeah, the rune claw.
Yeah.
But that's on the outside of this thing.
What do you think is the best way to store a Dwarven forge?
ooh.
Flat file cabinets
Yeah.
are really good but very expensive, but you can find them on eBay often. You can use the from IKEA. The Alex drawer is great if you reinforce it. You need to reinforce the drawers because the bottom is just like particle board, no
Ooh.
bust out. And the what is it, the really useful boxes? Like Michael's has some. The really useful boxes of shelves were work well. So these were just the walls.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Are just corners, put
And
in
then this-
backwards.
What we did back here was we put these little
Top piece.
pillars
Nice.
that you can see in these corners as well, but we made them fixtures in the back, so it was just kind of like
We ran out of
we ran out of
elevated
stuff.
table
But it was
space.
also it's like if we had more of these to like line on the sides, it actually
Yeah.
could have been like a really
That looks
cool
great.
extra way to do it. But
Very
Who's
extra.
got the pieces? If we don't have the pieces,
if we don't have the pieces, then we didn't have the pieces. I'm not talking about, you want to talk about the pieces. I don't want to talk about the pieces.
Ryan Devoto, right? Soren has got the pieces.
Yeah, that's true.
D. Sans Girl says, question.
Hi.
If Dwarven Forge employees have to stay in place due to coronavirus, will the web store and warehouse still be open for business? For
Yes,
purchases?
for now. So our warehouse is independent, and they're doing some of their shifts, so they're kind of staggering how people are in. It's a really big warehouse, so people aren't very close together, and they're currently still fulfilling orders. We are, after this broadcast, everybody's going back to their home, and we're not going to be broadcasting further. We'll be social distancing heavily. But the web store will still be cooking. We're still developing our Kickstarter as we speak. Our sculpting team is probably sculpting if they're not in the chat.
I think we have Eli here,
and-
actually.
Hey, Eli. We're still cooking. We're sort of business as usual until it's not. But yeah, it has pushed back our next Kickstarter. So we're gonna launch our 8th Kickstarter, Wildlands, in the future. Some point when things settle down. So we're still cooking away on that. But it's more of those trees and the like, and swamps and mountains and all the savage wilderness that will kill you.
Question.
Best kind of wilderness.
Why are you changing the color of the stone and city builder sets to dungeon gray from the original lighter gray? It says Major Higgins.
Major sir.
Major
it is to keep the cost down. It would the way we do our casting restocks, the city builder stuff tends to be smaller batches, and it was this weird specific lighter gray color. So it costs the factory a bunch of time to change, like changing the casting color basically ends up just costing us more money, and so they were going to have to raise the prices on that. So in order to not raise the prices, we switched to Dungeon Gray, so we can just do everything in Dungeon Gray in one big blast, and then we don't have to raise the prices on you. And it actually looks better. I wish we'd done it the darker stone from the get-go, because it gives you more contrast. You can see the texture in those grooves better.
We have 1 minute left on the giveaway. Also, enter Vecna in the chat, because we're not doing the slow countdown next time. We're going to speed it up.
Vecna, Vecna, to win the Gauntlet.
Are all of you sculptors, says Nemesis, but with numbers as the vowels to keep me on my toes.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. We have a wildly diverse team of talented folks, but none of our sculpting folks are here. They're all
U.S. only.
working from
Sorry.
home currently. They're heavily distanced.
Mm-hmm.
But we have Nina and Eli are sculpting. Michelle will get back to sculpting in a moment when she's done moving cross country. She has a great time to move cross country.
Yeah.
And that is the
Drew is
timer.
working on a mini as we speak. We are. I am the chief creative officer, so I guide the creation of all this stuff. You are.
I think we settled on archivist. I feel like that's a good.
The archivist.
Yeah, that's.
So see all these pieces? We have a lot of them, and this is the mastermind. It is like the Dewey Decimal System for dwarves.
Yeah.
It's like
And some of the resin stuff too, which
Yeah.
still has to get solved. Yeah, that was exactly what they wanted, because they needed some.
Oh, yep.
Thank you.
and Mace, what are you? We just say Twitch Commander.
Twitch Commander, formerly Studio Rogue, but maybe I'll do both still, just like a hyphen. And Bounty Hunter.
Mace Griffin, Bounty Hunter.
All right, we gonna do a countdown?
Yes, let's go ahead and do the countdown. So let's start from 5, 4,
4,
3, 2,
2,
1. Bow.
Mrs. Borer.
Ooh, Mrs. Borer,
Mrs.
congrats on the resin set. It
No,
is
this
a
is the Gauntlet, isn't it?
no.
Gauntlet.
Oh.
The Gauntlet.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
the
the
Gauntlet.
resin
I'm
set
so
was
sorry.
Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, we got it.
virus brain. The Gauntlet, which has all the traps that you need for a dungeon adventure.
So can we do the side by side? Did we sort that out? We do the side by side of Matt's Matt's map and then this thing, or did we not?
Oh, I can set that up real quick if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just show people sort of what the battle mat and then what we ended up with, and the like. Meanwhile, are there any questions from the studio audience?
So you always say studio audience, and
I
you
know.
don't. You mean virtual audience.
Virtual audience.
Lots of
The
congrats.
virtually studio audience.
Yeah, virtual. The
Why doesn't Eli do build videos anymore like in the castle days? I love Nate, but like Eli too. And if he is doing those videos still, why are they? I can't
Where
seem to
are
find
they?
them.
I can't seem to find
I
them.
see.
Mostly because Eli is sculpting like 60 hours a week. So there's it's just a lot of
It's
of sculpting
because
time.
we hate him.
Ooh.
It's because Eli is just endlessly
He needed to
sculpting.
raise
It's
chickens
because-
elsewhere.
It's because Eli has a whole elven city to run as well, so like he's a busy.
But if you do like Eli, you should go look at our On the Anvil episode 1 of
Yes.
him sculpting a piece live on camera.
And it will answer your question, Jail
yeah.
Bloom. How do you? So you sculpt and 3D scan for mass production? No.
No. So everything is hand sculpted, right? Impeccable, tiny, crazy details. And then we make traditional sliding steel molds for injection molding. We mold everything, cast it in Dwarvenite, so you can throw it on the floor.
Watch that be a resin.
I
piece.
would have loved it so
That
much,
would've-
honestly.
Well, I did that at PAX. Someone was there, and I was like, "No, this stuff's instructional." I threw a piece down. I'm like, "This is crazy," and they couldn't believe it. And they were holding I had the Apex Primordial or something. They're like, "Everything is cast in Dwarvenite." I'm like, "Yeah, we can't." I'm like, "Look, even this thing is taking indestructible." It's this huge, beautiful miniature that Eli made. That's like this big, this crazy, delicate, like unbelievable. And I was like, that thing is indestructible. Whatever, throw it. And he's like, I can't. I'm like, no, just throw it. Like as hard as you can, I'm gonna throw it. He's like, I know. I can't possibly. I'm like, throw it. It's indestructible. Just try to throw it. So he throws it on the cement floor, and it breaks in half. But it's a two-part piece that had a little bit of glue in the little thing. So
Yeah.
and he was just like his face. He was like, oh my god! I'm like, no. It's
I
like
was just messing with you.
So I put a drop of Gorilla Glue shot it back together. I'm like, oh, it's fine. I see it. It's in trouble. He was like, had this heart attack though, because it split apart and like went scattered across the floor
my
10
God.
feet and.
I love
But
it.
anyway, this stuff is cast in our own proprietary PVC blend, Dwarvenite, which is essentially indestructible.
Will
except for Momos. Hellhounds can damage it.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it too late to request missing piece replacements for the KS6? Says Papa Stevie.
No, it is not too late. The other thing I do here, besides the Dwarvenite, is I do help Chuck with customer service. So if you ever see my name or Chuck's name on there, that's usually who you're talking to when you're missing pieces or have broken pieces.
And in fact, you just got a box of replacements.
I
right?
did indeed.
Which might not ship out for a little while because
yeah,
of,
that's what I was gonna say. Is like the one thing that I'll say about it is, if you do have missing pieces, broken pieces, please send in your tickets where they should go, because we need to know about it. However, the timetable of us being able to get it back to you is a little wonky right now. We just want to make sure that we can actually ship everything to everybody, and we're trying to play it by ear as much as possible. But
it'll
if we
get out.
have your information, we will get it to you. It just may take a little bit longer than we want it to.
We're just not sure with the current situation with coronavirus. We're not sure what the timeline and anything is.
Yeah.
But we will get you your replacements if we owe you a thing.
Are there any plans for other styles of architecture on the horizon? Something other than classic medieval? Maybe Asian, Middle Eastern, Ancient Greek, or Roman? Says EMW_3.
We not right now. Right now we're focused on the Wildlands, which is going to launch as soon as we were gunning to launch in May. It's probably going to get pushed back a little bit because of the current situation.
Yeah.
But that is all untamed wilderness where there is no active civilization, and then after that we'll see what next year holds. So anything could happen, but right now we're focused on this year's project, and from there, sky's the limit. Maybe we may even go out into outer space and do sci-fi. I don't know. Anything is possible. We're always looking for new areas to explore, new artistic challenges to tackle, and new types of architecture would be really fun. But we will see. Well, right now, Wildlands, everything Wildlands.
What is Dwarvenite?
It is our own proprietary PVC blend. So it is basically like a super dense rubber plastic, and it has really good heft. So it's heavy. It feels close to resin, holds detail pretty well, and like I said, we can just throw it on the ground. It's pretty. Stomp on it.
Another resin piece.
Yeah.
It'll never make it. He's ready for the.
Yeah, do you want to compare the top or the bottom?
Ooh, yeah. Let's start with the outside. So yeah, let's see what we built. So this was the. Look at that. So that was Matt's
Initial drawing.
Of course, it's 90 degrees, but we'll.
Yeah, they're in different aspect ratios.
Yeah.
But you can sort of imagine it's turned 90 degrees, right? So that upper left that's Matt's battle map. His is facing off to the right. Ours is going straight up. But that's.
And that's kind of what I was talking about, right? It's like that battle took place at the important part of the structure. So like the map is good, but like if he had this whole structure, they could have changed part of that fight. Like it could have happened sooner. Or
the map is like at the end of the day, you don't need any of it, right? Like it's a game about storytelling, right?
Yeah.
So you could have done it all just theater of the mind or without any of that stuff. You don't need all this terrain. You don't need those battle maps. You don't need anything. You just need some friends in a story.
Yeah.
But you could also build a 2-foot ziggurat.
Every single time that I have ever had any piece, or just in general, like anytime you do that little bit of extra step, or like ad hoc something, or you just build a little like cool little fixture on top of something else, and you put some glitter on it, and you're like, this is how it looks, and it usually just lights people up. It's just something where everybody else gets to have a lot of fun, and if you can include people in that too, like including them in your builds, or how a structure should look, it adds even more to that.
So speaking of lighting people up, we're going to add one more giveaway.
What?
Arcane Alcove that we promised at the beginning. And if you want to get crazy, we've been sustaining over 300.
Woo!
We can maybe get more people out if we promise more things.
Well, let's start with this.
Let's start with this. Okay,
Did we give
Arcane
away the other
Alcove.
one? Oh, we already did. Yeah. What's a good word that we haven't used yet that would get people excited about the Arcane?
Don't you dare. I know what you're thinking. It's not going to be Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Well, no, that's 4 words.
I thought he was
Okay.
thinking deception. So.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Let's do resin. No.
That's too confusing.
Arcane. Arcane.
Your brains. Nobody keeps
Somebody
this place
said
in line.
weenie.
Bidet Valkyrie.
Bidet.
Oh, the day would have been a good one.
Bidet.
Except if then people already.
Yeah.
And they might not be
Yeah.
young anymore.
It's true.
Yeah. Sometimes, once in a while, I'm right.
Hey, who's your favorite employee?
Let's switch over to the top side.
And then I'm gonna leave the room.
Because it's gonna be about you. Is that?
So,
what?
so we got. So this is Matt's original map
Mm-hmm.
on the left, and then our build on the right.
See, this is what I mean again. Yeah, like where you can see the eye, like the eye and inside the hand and everything.
It
It's
just
so
feels
cool.
a lot less. Everything feels so much more epic when it's in 3 dimensions. Like, how do you not get excited by that?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the only unfortunate thing could have been, there was part of that where he was saying it's like, yeah, you can't really make it out. Like this would have been much more distinct, and so it would have been something where like, yeah, maybe they did see it a little bit easier, but I'm okay with that. Like I feel like at the end of the day, don't hide so much stuff. Like enjoy your world with your players, and like build something so that
there's
they
no
have
reason having these deep dark secrets that no one ever learns. Right? Like that's the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
'cause
I
then
feel like it's the DM trap. It's like, I'll have all of these secrets, and then they'll never
it's
know.
the same thing in LARP or whatever. You have this character backstory that's all this thing, but you never tell anybody. So like, what's the point of having it? Because maybe if it drives some of your motivations or whatever, but like I don't know, share it. Like get that stuff out there.
Internal motivation is different than
Yes.
secret information.
Yeah, the secret society that was chasing you and is going to one day get you and all this.
Like they found out that this was the Knowing Mistress's temple during the story, so like they knew things about it, and they heard whispered one. They like found out these key things that were going to tell them, like if they had delved into it more in that moment, maybe they would have found out more. Maybe they would have been better prepared for certain things. There's also a skull that had a gem in it that Grog during this time, during the Whitestone, like Briarwood arc,
It's great. It's a honestly, I'm super excited for the animated show too. It's gonna be awesome.
When is that set to?
September?
August.
Cool.
But with everything.
I bet September.
Maybe.
No, I mean,
Or maybe
I mean,
sooner if people are locked in their houses.
They're
Nothing
pretty
to
far in
do.
production, so
But
they may not
Titmouse
be.
has. I mean, like everybody needs to be in one. Like I don't know. It's hard to have your animation team working
From
offsite.
remote,
Your
yeah. I mean,
sound. I don't know. It's. I don't know. Who knows what the man? My Twitch is just going bonkers. Or not Twitch. What is that?
Twitter.
Yeah, the internet.
The bird feed.
Yeah, as it were. Are there any more
Get the Yankee
questions
skull. That's-
from the?
that's what it was. It was a skull
Ooh.
like a Yankee.
Any more
When do we
questions
want to
from the-
give away toilet paper? Says Stefan
Ah.
Zaltar. Are the Dwarven Forge prices in U.S. dollars? My poor Canadian Monopoly money is killing me right now.
Yes, it
this
is
face.
in USD.
Yeah, that's a good face. Do that
Thank
again. Yes, it is. Unfortunately, all of our prices are in U.S. dollars because we are located in the U.S. here. Our headquarters is here in New York, in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Woo!
Any plans for more Critical Role builds?
Yes.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I've got
Tyler's got a long list of things he wants to do.
Oh man, isn't their hand and podium the wrong way around compared to Matt's map?
No.
No.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah.
The way so the staircase was facing is like directed towards the front door, like it's facing the door that like they're coming into, and so the way the picture is right now, it's like it's
You know what?
it's a little strange, but
No, fine.
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 It's
You know what's-
modular.
You know what's really great?
How much are the Vecna hand tiles? Somebody would.
These are one of a kind.
That is not a price.
That's a price.
All right.
I don't know.
They are
Priceless.
priceless.
They were part
There
of
you
the,
go.
the limited edition Realm of the Ancients.
Is there any way to
resin
get
collection.
LED items like the fire pot without purchasing an entire set?
Yes.
Says Tetsuya 86. That's a lot.
They
Nani?
yes, we have a. If you go to our website at dwarvenforge.com, maybe you can throw a link in there to the store. There's a bunch of small packs that you can get that are. We have a really neat the camp pack, which has a little campfire and a couple of bedrolls. It's like $25 or $30. It's got some equipment, some bedrolls, and an LED campfire. We sell packs of these, just the braziers. Let's switch back to the.
This looks
back to
great.
the-
I'm just
the,
amazed this is-
Regular modes.
Oh, I
We have
see.
packs of these. You just search brazier. We have we have a whole bunch of, and we are in the midst of revamping our site. Well, you can't even see the LED things. We're in the midst of revamping our site, including a search function that's going to really help find all these bits and whatever. And we have a whole bunch of small sets that you can get that are just that work without having to buy hundreds of dollars worth of terrain.
What about the nets?
The nets are. We don't have a set that you can just easily just get a couple of nets. They're kind of buried in the Gauntlet. Actually, oh man, they might only be in the Gauntlet. You know what? We're gonna have to.
Plus, basketball season's closed.
No.
So
Nope.
Ooh, sports ball jokes? No, come on.
Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, come on.
Yeah. So we're at some point we're gonna revamp the dungeon sets, and we should maybe revamp and get those nets available. Hey, but look, did that guy see, or the gal, that person see that we flipped the hand around?
We
for
did
you?
it
'Cause
for
it's
you.
modular. Yeah,
Mhm.
it looks better. Although, you know what's cool about this? It's like creeping towards the door. It's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Through the door.
Well, there's like a moment in there that I'm remembering or forgetting, and it's like they had to do like a run
Either
around.
remembering or forgetting it.
They like ran around. There's something about it. It's like it's weird, but there was doors on both sides. Like that's the main point. Is that there are ways in and out of it.
Yeah. Are there any other questions from the?
James on post says, I had no idea you guys were in Brooklyn. Have you ever considered factory tours or anything? Obviously, when things are better. My 5-year-old son would go nuts.
Yeah.
Not like I wouldn't.
I brought my kids here once. That was a mistake. No, it's a wonderland. It's amazing. We and our factory is off site. It's
Yeah.
overseas.
Yeah.
We don't usually do tours because we just have top secret stuff everywhere. Like everything is like all this stuff in development.
Yeah.
And
as well as it's a working office as well.
Yeah,
like
it's a bunch of artists sitting, making cool creative stuff quietly everywhere. You can actually see it in our very, very, very first video, our kickoff stream. I don't know what it's titled, but we show a little tour of the office. In like the first 5 minutes of that, we do a little walkthrough of the office, so you can get a virtual sense. I mean, half of it's redacted, but
yeah. Well, also genuinely, the theme of the Twitch is just to show the inside of the office too.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we can give you enough of a tour on the stream. MBCE.
Yeah, go watch some of the old, if you watch On the Anvil from last night, you see the build room. You see the one On the Anvil with Eli. You see part of the creative L. Like we're basically, this channel is your portal in here.
Mm-hmm.
With all 3, 4 rooms, 5 rooms. Because we have a little workshop. Sorry, NBC was that?
MBCE47 says, this build uses a lot of platform boxes. How would you build this layout without using sewing many boxes? An alternate build method, maybe?
just
2x4s.
yeah.
Insulation, the hard foam insulation, gator foam,
Yeah.
cardboard
Anything
boxes.
I would also say, like, you'd have to make sure that you're like supporting the entirety of this room. Like, do not just like put up like 4 little posts or like put up partitions.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
a lot of weight.
It needs a lot of structure to it.
You could use plywood and build some plywood, like little step tables, like nesting tables, and just build up on those. Gator foam, basically anything that's hard and square or rectangular, flat.
People are also saying, as a little trick, if you need more webs, if you use dryer sheets and use them 3 times in a dryer, apparently that's the
turns into web.
secret number. Yeah. Also, they go ahead. You do.
No, you do it.
You do
You
it.
know what I'm gonna do it.
Also, you got
Okay. There's this really, really cool hot glue gun kind of contraption that you put it. A webcaster. You put air pressure in the bottom of like a little tank, and then you can shoot out webs like Spider-Man.
In our Lost Odyssey video on YouTube.
You can see it in our Lost Odyssey video on YouTube.
Let's give him a link.
Let's give him a link.
It's you can attach your air compressor if you use like for miniature painting. It's really better with it. It's like an industrial strength one, and then you blast the hot glue out in these tiny threads, and you it's just it's like
When
magic.
can we get a Nate mini?
We're talking about doing the team minis in this next Kickstarter. So here's the thing: if you guys all show up to our next Kickstarter and pledge, then we can probably make it happen. We can make the team minis. We need a bunch of people to show up and get excited about what we're making and see if we can break all our previous records.
Blackout Sun says, how painful was it removing all the glue from the build?
Oh yeah, we removed all of that.
So I actually was able to pry some of it off, but it is not easy. You will destroy your nails.
We gave it to Lost Odyssey, so it's living on somebody's shelf somewhere.
It was better that way anyway. Like it was just
it was an art piece
It's a relic.
like this.
like this.
Yeah.
I need a Doom mini, says Tetsuya86.
Oh yes. Yeah, I don't know. We never made the Doom and Zaltar set either. Those guys are. Yeah.
Troll snot.
People forget that we.
Zaltar.
People forget that we make miniatures. Like they come for the terrain. They forget about miniatures. So we usually always end up just putting miniatures as in the back seat, or in the trunk, or just leave them on the side of the road.
I kind of enjoy that though. I do enjoy that we
being
have.
in the trunk.
I have been in the trunk many times.
7 kids, right?
Yeah, I'm one of 9, so
9.
He has 7 kids. That's what. That's what it was.
I have a story of us putting you in a trunk and driving through Portland.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't it like after you performed a show too? So
Yes.
we watched you do a play,
and then put me in the trunk.
That's your reward.
Yeah. It was great. But no, I guess what I was gonna say was that it's like what I really enjoy about us is that it's like I know it is great to make the minis, but if we focus on our terrain, like I feel like that's a stronger presence for everybody else out there. Is like you have a place to go for your terrain, and if we can provide some extra minis, awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like that is my favorite part.
Yeah, they're a little spicy icing. Yeah.
Spicing.
Spicing. It's the, you know what it is? They're the sprinkles on the icing.
The spicy icing sprinkles. Spicing. Knighthood X says, regarding the outside columns, are those solid or do they collapse and expand sizes?
Solid. One piece solid.
Sold.
Remember, the ancients did have. No, I guess they weren't.
Solid.
Fire newts are kind of like Doom.
Mm-hmm.
The nose. Yeah, we have a Doom Mini. We just have never produced him.
Crypt
He's
Fox.
Pretty adorable.
Adoptable?
He's adoptable.
Mm.
He's available for adoption if you want. If you
Hi.
live here.
So am I.
Do you think that Dwarven Forge would ever do an economical kit to build your own?
Like a
I'm
casting
guessing-
kit, like her starts.
Maybe. Or maybe like a build your own set?
Probably not. So what we like to do is we like to provide premium terrain that's ready to use right out of the box, right? Like, so we're not hobbyists, or we're not making hobbyist materials the way her starts is something. We're making a thing. We want 80% of the people are buying it already painted and ready to go. Like, they want to just get the stuff, build a giant ziggurat, and start playing.
Yeah.
And there are people who buy it unpainted and take months and paint the really elaborate paint schemes and do all this stuff and do. But the bulk of our people are buying it painted, ready to go, and probably don't want to have to like cast their own. And then you can't cast it in Dwarvenite, and it's a whole thing. Like, we prefer making something that is just going to last an entire lifetime, and you already have it painted, so you don't have to go through the pain of painting your stuff. Anybody that's tried to paint hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dungeon walls, like, have you realized that you don't want to do that?
Well, let's get cranched.
Everybody wants cranched up.
Cranch me up.
Stop this.
Should we do the giveaway? How many entries do we have?
Yeah, let's do it. What are we at?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we really should have.
We didn't forget.
164.
Arcane.
164.
All right,
That's
last
great.
chance.
So last
Arcane.
chance. Arcane.
Yeah,
You
you
gotta
are.
Hey, Mar.
Cranch me up before you go. It says hamster.
ARCANE.
Too cranch, too curious.
Curiosity, cranch the cat.
I love cringe content.
Oh boy.
All right, Arcane. Get ready.
What do we give? Oh, the Arcane Alcove.
Get setty. Spaghetti.
And this is a set of terrain. It's a dungeon terrain. It's a couple of passages, couple of room pieces. It's got this piece is in it with the cool glowing green orb. Can you get that one? Is it on? Am I?
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah,
You're on. You're
I
good.
can't see any screen.
You're good.
It
It also has the Wall of Force.
Walls of Force, Spike
is
Pit,
great.
Talking Door,
Yeah.
Blades. It's got a lot of. It packs a lot of punch in a little thing. It's really great. Once again, if you have if you have a basic set, some sort of starter set, it spices up your starter set in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do it.
All right, 5,
4,
3,
2.
1.
Boom.
Fizbin Entertainment.
Fizbin.
Oh, hello.
Congratulations on the Arcane Alcove. I will be messaging you now.
Woohoo!
Fizbin. Oh.
So are there any other questions, or should we get back out of here?
Potentially. Let me whisper to this
we got?
man real quick.
You know what I would say?
You wanna do
even
some witty
while
banter?
you're doing that, like
Yeah.
what I would love to say is that like what this shows is when you like turned it the other way, is really yet again like some of the modularity of just Dwarven Forge in general. Is that it's like you can.
I mess up my builds all the time. Like
Right.
I mean,
how
this
often
is,
we like if you look in you look at this the
Well, play the time lapse.
the time lapse again. It's like we
we're all
go
over
through
the
like
place. Yeah.
3 different times we move these things like forward and back and
It's
figuring it out.
It's sketching in 3 dimensions, right? You're sketching out a thing like this doesn't work. Pull out the pillars. Try 2 pillars. Try 3 pillars. Try 6 pillars. See what the right number is. Like roll. We just mess. Oh, there it is.
I just saw you
the
do the
thumbs
thumbs
up.
up to the camera, but it was still
Yeah.
a normal time.
Oh
so
yeah,
that's
Selena
great.
did that purposely.
Which
That's why she's a wizard.
a
A
visit?
wizard? Yeah, it's a wizard.
Wizard.
Which-
Watch us build
Which
and
witch
rebuild
is
the
which?
things
Which
like
witch
over
is
and over
which
again. We're
witch?
We tear the
What's
thing
the-
down, we put it back in, you move it around, you realize the
Yeah,
whole thing's
she's a
not
good
tall
question.
enough. It's like, that's part of the fun of it,
Yeah.
is you just sort of explore as you go with your build. Just like Legos.
Which piece do you find to be the one that you always seem to find a new use for when building? For example, I love how the curved walls can be used for various situations.
Yeah. lot of these little fiddly bits, like the curved dais stairs that we use in a bunch of places here, like those little tiny bits that you can end up using just like as decoration, and do a lot.
Yeah.
Turning stuff.
Well, we
on its
originally
side.
were even doing like vaulted corners and things as like a stopgap for elevation blocks. I'm wondering, finding new uses for like. There's some caverns pieces that I'm excited to like.
Caverns is just
There's
relentless.
so many,
the ways
like,
you can turn things on its side.
trifecta system alone is just like you can do so many different things with those, and like I'm still learning how to utilize them correctly or like efficiently, and so I'm super excited about that. And I guess that's the other thing with like Hellscape too. Like Hellscape has some of that I'm like really jazzed
I can't
about.
wait till Hellscape gets out there, which it's looking like we're hoping to ship in June now, based on Corona extravaganza. We'll see where we land, but I can't wait for that to get out in everybody's hands and see what that does. Like adding the magma rivers and the lava element to all the existing stuff, it's going to give you a lot of options.
What
That's pretty cool.
piece or set, if any, did not turn out the way the team originally envisioned? Says Bane Stabberwocky.
Bane Stabberwocky.
Yeah, it's a good name.
That's Stabberwocky is a clever
Switch
one.
on Jabber. Yeah.
What evolved? I'm trying to think what ended up really different than originally. I feel like the burrows felt a little different than I originally thought they were going to be, but not radically different.
Those eggs are nasty.
The
eggs are great.
Yeah,
The eggs
nasty.
were really cool. The
What's up, fam? This is my egg sack.
No, it's a really good question.
These are my 7 kids.
Ted that did it was sort of a surprise.
I have another question if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Kodiak Bear Alaska.
Hey!
Yeah.
We got Kodiak has been on the forums for like 20 years.
Forever.
Even though the forums have only been around for like 12, Kodiak has been there for 20.
He
It's
invented
like old
them.
School. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the change in Dwarvenite all to one color, will you make DF paint in both colors as a base coat?
DF paint in both coats. Oh, like a light gray base coat that they could. Unfortunately, probably not. We don't like it. Making new paint colors just ends up being a money sink for us. We don't sell enough paints to make it worth making new colors. We're still trying to get through. We added royal red and
Yeah.
regal red and
Regal,
basalt blue.
Arcane
Yeah,
acid.
still working through those, but I bet Aaron can tell you how to mix with their existing colors. It's probably a simple mix of 2 colors. Yeah, we'll have to have a Joy of Dwarven Painting revised
Is it the same as the Aaron
city builder.
Because we do the Aaron Thorpe.
I think it's lighter than the Aaron Thor
Okay.
color, of course. Like it would be too easy if it was like. Yeah, that's a good question, Kodiak.
Dab 1800 says, "Is there trifecta dungeon castle pieces?"
Wait, what?
Is there trifecta
Trifecta?
slash
Are there trifecta
dungeon-
castle pieces?
yeah slash castle pieces?
No.
The closest we get to that is the ruins or the curve. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole city builder system is very different geometry from anything else, but it is very similar to the trifecta in that there's sort of the wall is separate from the spacer, separate from the inner wall, so you can
Right.
use it without an inner wall, or you can swap out your walls and the like. But there isn't a trifecta setup per se for castles. But at some point we will go back and revisit castles, and you know what? Anything is possible.
Eli answered
Yes.
with the
Hello,
paint,
Eli.
the paint.
If you wanted to match the lighter gray original CBS cast color, you can just mix base gray and white or stone edge dry brush.
Boom. Thank you,
Forging
Eli.
Dwarfs. Is it good?
Forging.
Dwarves.
Oh my gosh, people be trifling. How much difficulty does the LED wiring add to the manufacturing process? 3 question marks.
That it's a lot of it adds a lot of complication. It definitely, the LED pieces are more expensive than our regular pieces.
Well, it's also
'Cause there's there's a lot that has to go into it. It needs a battery holder. It needs an on-off switch. It needs to get wired up to the LED socket. If the socket is, it's either JST connector or our wall socket connector, or if it's baked in. Like it's definitely adds a bunch of complication, but it's so worth it because the LED pieces look so cool when they're glowing. It always gets everybody's attention, and it's also one of the things that sets us apart. There's not a lot of people making LED terrain pieces at this.
Yeah.
At
Tons
this
of people
volume.
trying to forge them, though. That's like the third forge name.
Forge?
Yeah.
Forging dwarves?
Forging dwarves.
Are you upset?
Yeah, because I wanted that. Now I have to forge something else.
Good answer.
Forging
Good
mace.
answer.
Let's see. I guess, you know what would be hot in Wildlands? Says Shane Patrick.
Tell us, Shane Patrick.
Wildlands dungeon transition pieces or Wildland castle transition pieces.
What would a Wildlands castle transition piece be?
Sick.
Oculus.
AF. Yeah, it would be dope. Next question.
No, we don't have VR.
I'm kind of thinking about the spirit tree and how it has like a big...
Yeah, but there will be... There's a couple of ways to get to other places, right? You know, if you just go out into the wilderness, there'll be, you know, there will be some places to go other places from.
Like city, like yeah.
Because
like
when
a
you
street transition into like a forest or something like that. You're gonna blow it in my.
Well, so one of the guiding principles of Wildlands is there's no active civilization, so we're not going to have a transition from cobblestone streets right out to wild. Like we're way past, we're miles beyond that, leagues further distant into the wilds. But there's going to be some transitions because, you know, when you're going, generally you're either getting on a fight on the way there or when you get to some sort of location.
Yeah,
where it's
you've got a destination in mind. You're going with
Yes.
a purpose. You're not just like, well, time to go home.
Yeah.
into the unknown.
There will be some options to get you from the wilds to some other places.
Yeah.
Dangerous places. Even more dangerous places. Yeah. We should take a few more questions and then what are we at? 9 o'clock?
Yeah,
Should
we're
get
close.
out?
We're like
Close, 10 till.
Yeah.
Will you change it to other colors or dual switch colors?
the LEDs.
Yeesh.
Well, yeah. What he's about to say. Ooh, did you catch the right, Pete? Did you catch the right?
Neither of them was. This
Okay.
was in the.
All right, good.
I think he meant
Oh, I didn't see
swap
that.
out the.
No. I think.
I don't know where that went.
Where did that come
The
from?
bees.
Not the gosh darn bees.
So yeah, we can swap this red.
Oh,
that
that's
red
right,
line out. Let's put on.
Late to the party, but I gotta see the Ziggurat, says Kuro Kitsu 91.
I gotta say that. I gotta say.
Late to the party, but I gotta say, what a crazy build.
And we can change this. It's modular, so we can change.
There are some like LED wall pieces though that from caverns that have like the crystal cavern stuff do change colors and they come with an LED remote. But
RGB LEDs.
yes, but for the most part, it's based on the actual wall socket attachment.
So we have 10 minutes left, and I know normally I'm the one that's looking to not do this, but should we do another giveaway? We are still at 300, 310.
What do we have left? Oh yeah.
All right, we have one more giveaway.
We got so many people here. We gotta give them the stuff. That's
Thank
great.
you for tuning in. You're helping us very much. We're going to be partners soon because of you guys. So, as a final giveaway, the next 10 minutes, we have Sly Flourish's 2 books, Lazy DM,
The Lazy Dungeon Master and Return of the Lazy
of
Dungeon
it.
Master.
So, for the keyword for that, should we make them spell Ziggurat?
No.
No?
So I bet lazy.
Lazy? All right, lazy. The lazy option.
So this is Sly Flourish is he's a Dwarven Forge collector. He's backed almost all of our Kickstarter, all of them. He writes a little guide of how to what's the sort of best bang for your buck. If you're trying, you're doing Dwarven Forge, if you only want to spend $200, here's this pieces to get in this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
He writes tons of great content. He's super active on social media. He's just a super nice guy, and he's written some great books. Particularly, The Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master is just it has unbelievable prep techniques for DMing, and if you're like, oh yeah, I only have an hour to prep my game, it's got some really great things. One of them I think is burying secrets in there, and like just listing out. He's like making a couple of quick lists that you can just draw from when you're going on the fly. It's really just dynamite advice, good stuff, and he's a longtime Dwarven Forge supporter, so we love this guy and we love his book. So let's give people one.
Give the
both.
people.
Yeah, both.
Give them
You
both.
don't need,
Give
you
them the
don't
set.
need an exclamation point in front of the word.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was having trouble typing your name, but you do not need an exclamation point, just LAZY because that's
LAZY.
all it takes. Cool sweatshirt hoodie.
Talking to you, I think.
Thanks.
Yes,
You're the only one in the.
I made it myself.
So, like,
I dressed myself this morning, so I.
when did you first start selling Dwarven Forge?
Yeah. Okay. I want to say
1996. Stefan went to Gen Con with a booth. I think it was like a table and I don't know 100 sets or something, and they sold out in a matter of hours. And that was it. It was business. So it was like the whole thing. It was like nobody had ever done this before. And nobody, he's like, is anybody actually going to show up and buy this stuff? Is it going to be a thing? And it was gone, Thursday, like the doors opened, and by Thursday at lunch, it was sold out, gone. And it's been downhill, uphill, around hill. It's been
hilly,
non-stop.
lots of hills,
No
wildlands.
Yeah, wildlands.
C. Neptune says, cool mohawk, Nate, and he really wants you to know it because he
He
keeps
wrote it
commenting in it.
in all caps, 3 times.
Nate, your mohawk is cool.
We'll put some glitter in it.
Oh yeah, wow.
The
That's a terrible
Icy
idea.
cool.
yeah, that's never gonna come
You
out.
don't have to deal with
Yeah.
that.
It's the mohawk is to keep things lively. It's so I didn't look like a skinhead. Really, it was. I shaved my head.
I remember the
with
story. I was like, it was so that you
with the boots.
didn't look like a skinhead.
No, it was to take
which
the
I
edge
think
off.
is hysterical.
It was to feel more approachable, right? Because I had the boots and the pants. I wear the same uniform every day, same thing, right?
That's a good point.
And I looked a little intimidating. So the mohawk makes me more accessible.
What is your dream build?
Ooh.
How many employees?
Dream build?
No.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing is I have so much fun building all these different things. The build we did for PAX, what was the last PAX? PAX East was a really, really fun one. Can you sneak Circle 3/4? Is it? Huh?
I was gonna do a pan down.
Oh yeah. That one was a really good one. The is combining some new Wildlands prototypes and our Dread Hollow Forest and a castle. That was super fun. I just love it's hard to say what my dream build is because I'm building them all the time. I love we build so many fun bits. You know what I would love? Here's my dream build. Lost Odyssey 2. Where they have something really cool planned for October or November. But they've already sort of gave us we're gonna do some really neat sort of custom stuff for it, and it's gonna be awesome. And that's really fun. I love those projects where it's like a challenge, like a narrative challenge of we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. It all has to fit on the table. It has to do this. It needs to look cool for the audience. And it requires some things that you don't necessarily have. You have to be creative. I love those.
Kind of like yawning portal thing.
Yeah. Or Lost Odyssey. One with the web gun. So
Custom
I don't know what
stuff.
we're gonna play. I don't know what we're gonna get on this one, but it's gonna be
sick.
dangerous.
Ooh.
Don't tell Tyler.
I know.
Do you ever think you will allow people to sell your merchandise directly to the public as a dealer? I have heard at one time that was allowed, or is that incorrect? Says Nerd Debauchery.
It's not.
We like nerd debauchery.
We do like him.
Yeah. It's not really advantageous to us. Our margins are such that it doesn't really buy us that much to have other people sell stuff. The problem is we can't even. It's hard to keep enough stock to stock our own store, much less stocking other people's stores.
Yeah.
So we're not kind of it doesn't make sense right now.
And speaking from the slight bit of experience I have with that kind of stuff too,
Returns
not only returns but just distribution and that kind of. It's that's a whole extra chain of work that we would have to be doing that we're not entirely set up for. Yeah. We'd have to have a complete division dedicated to it and have already there's particulars to that where it's because then we'd also have to vet the stores and make sure that they're displayed properly, and we'd have to like set up. Sorry, that was me. We'd have to set up, some different things that would require a lot more build up.
It's not going to happen in the immediate future.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But you can come to dwarvenforge.com to get all your Dwarvenforge needs, all your hand sculpted gaming terrain needs. All right, Selena, are you ready to show off?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's give a nice one single shot of this glorious.
Let's see if we can do it.
What is it?
And focus and everything else. Right?
Focus. You can do it. You can. Ooh, Ziggurat.
Ziggy Piggy, Ziggy Piggy.
Those two Bill and Ted's references. Is the same day.
I
Maybe both of
can't
them
help
are the
it,
same.
man. I am just too excited.
If we had more elevation platforms, we would have built we could have built
Sides.
it.
We could, yeah.
It's not a proper ziggurat. It's
Right.
like this is like a staircase
Yeah.
rather than a ziggurat.
But I think also though that is what you would. This is the kind of build you would put up to your players because you're like, this is the focal point that I want you to focus on anyway.
Don't run around the side of this thing.
It's like I don't need you to run around the side of this thing. It's a bad idea.
Yep.
But it's also
Also, remember, it's only 1 minute left to enter that giveaway, so type lazy. We'll be doing a countdown soon.
Sly
Yeah.
flourish.
Yeah.
Ooh, do we have any other questions?
Will you ever do sculptor signings? Bring your favorite piece to be signed by the sculptor, says Bane Stabberwocky.
Oh, so yeah, like
Bring stuff to Gen Con. Yeah, that's our next. We'll be at Gen Con. Bring your stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have silver Sharpies.
Read the module, someone print out the module.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
people have brought stuff to be signed. For sure.
Eld Noth, I think I said that terribly
Nailed it.
wrong. Okay. Is that Stefan is on the West Coast? Have you considered a warehouse on the West Coast?
no,
No.
our warehouse is good
Yeah.
enough.
Our warehouse in Connecticut gets everybody all over the world.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's hard enough to have one warehouse. You're not having a second one. Yeah.
Are y'all hiring?
What do you do?
It's Ackley Parker, and he says project manager.
Do you live in Brooklyn?
How many employees do you have? Says pull the lever DM.
What are we, 12 in the office here and 6 satellites?
I think so, something like that.
Under 20.
Yeah, there you go.
Less
Look at
than
that.
critical role.
Yeah.
It's a good metric, right?
All right. Should we go ahead and do the countdown?
Yeah.
All right. So, because we're super lazy, we're starting at 3, 2, 1. And the winner
Return of the Lazy
is
Dungeon Master!
Shane Patrick has won.
Oh, Shane
Congrats,
Patrick!
Patrick.
Awesome.
Woo.
Happy Shane Patrick's Day.
Happy.
Yeah. Wow, I got you to go up an octave on that one. Woo!
Yeah.
Hamster right now is breaking glass.
Yeah, he's like, ah! Yeah. I can't believe at the Christmas party how high
Oh yeah,
like
no,
his
he's
laughter
got
got.
range.
Like,
He's
it was
classically
just-
trained in that line.
Hamster's got a squeak.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up here, we have we'll be back next week with On the Anvil, which is our weekly show that we show you the process. We go behind the curtain. We're going to show. I don't know what we're going to be doing next week. So maybe we'll continue the waterfalls. We've been doing mock-ups in a couple of weeks, maybe. At some point, we're going to do one where Nina starts sculpting the Oblivion Nexus. We're going to do the one then way past that. Once we have casting, Aaron will do some painting on that. We'll have Toby modding that thing. Maybe we'll do one with, I don't know. The sky's the limit. We're going to show you. We just want to show you how all the sausage is made. So every week, we don't even know when that one's going to be next week. It'll be a Wednesday or Thursday.
We
still
have a
trying to figure
Discord.
out.
We've got our announcements going out
Yeah.
through Twitter, a lot of other things. So just pay attention to those social media.
Social distancing is kind of throwing us for a loop. So we're trying to figure out how to set up in my basement, and I'll be running it from there.
Down but not
It'll be-
out.
Yeah, so it'll probably be Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday next week, 7 o'clock Eastern, and it'll be fun to see some of you guys there. You can kind of get to know more of the team and more of our process, and see what we have cooking for Wildlands and kind of the crazy schemes that are afoot Do we have any other? We don't know. At some point we're gonna do
high
wargaming
praise
again.
for any other streams.
Yeah, we don't
Wargaming
even-
would be great to have back on. It just depends on what we're actually capable of, which is another plug for Vorpal Board, because we're going to be doing a project with them, hopefully getting something exciting and new.
Maybe some actual play.
Maybe.
Some dungeons, some dragons. Some
Maybe
miniature
and-
terrain.
Maybe a rust monster or two.
Ooh.
Dungeons and Dragons?
I know all in
In
one
this
place.
economy? Is that where your joke's going?
All right.
Yeah, so we got that cooking.
No.
Mostly with thank you very much for tuning in and taking a look at our version of fan art, 3-dimensional build using terrain. Let us know if is there something that you'd like to see built from
Campaign 1.
Yeah, right. Something that hasn't been built. Right. We don't want to rebuild something that Matt's already built. We want to build something that was either just alluded to, maybe even they didn't even go to a fight in.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, some of the stuff, like, there's a lot of like, there's a city, there's like Amon. Like, I want to do some stuff in Amon. I would love to do some stuff for, God, why I'm blanking on it right now? But it's the city.
Tell us what.
Tell us what you want to do. Like, there's a bunch of places.
You know, if you want us to make bring something to life, let us know what might be fun, and we'll. Wait, you keep it PG.
There's Feywild stuff that we could do.
Yeah.
That's I'm just realizing.
Yeah. We could go to the theater in the Feywild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking of. The theater would be great.
That's a really good idea, right? You're supposed to go to the theater in the Feywild.
You're supposed to.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. You should definitely go to the theater.
Sounds like a good plan. So anyway, let us know what you like, and be sure to follow us. And if you want to, you can get crazy and subscribe to us. We'll be giving you fun content every week. We also have a good YouTube channel. We've got a Discord channel. We've got a Facebook group. We have a forum.
And there's more giveaways on the Facebook group if you like free things. I don't know if you're into that, though. So it's person by person. It's official Dwarven Forge fan page. And it is private, but it's searchable. We had to make it private just for some reasons.
People.
Yeah, there's some meanies out there, but...
Send us the thing. We'll get you. We're
sure.
really fast in getting people in.
And then...
And we're giving away... We're close on that giveaway, right?
We are. We're dangerously close.
Yeah,
we might have already nipped it.
Once we hit 1,000 members, we're going to give away some Dread Hollow, the forest prototypes, hand painted here. We'll sign them, send those out, and we're real close on that. So join that up. Join the Discord, and mostly just come back and just watch and hang out with us. Ask us questions. Give us some ideas. See the process. Get to know us. And we'll let you know about our Kickstarter, which is coming soon.
And wash your hands.
And stay distant.
Make
Wash
sure
my
you kiss
hands.
everybody.
Yep.
Because that's just nice.
How are you the safety marshal of this company with that advice?
Yeah, that's bad
Who
advice.
are you?
All right.
Yeah.
I wasn't
And-
the health advisor.
And thank you to behind the camera. We got literally Selena, our video wizard,
Yeah.
and we have Chris London over there, actor.
Cool nickname.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of a thing on the fly, but I realized your nickname's not good for primetime and you hate it.
Figuratively,
Yes.
Yeah.
And Casey and Hazel, the dog.
Oh, Hazel.
They're
Shout out to Hazel.
dog. Yeah.
Shout out to Hazel. Let's
True
get
And
that.
this will be our last group stream for a while as the distance kicks in.
All right.
Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Now it's back to the anvil.
Oh,